Welcome once again to the one, the only Midnight's Edge After Dark. I am Tom Connors, and with me is the regular band of criminals and retrobate, along with a new face. You may have seen him on some other places. We'll introduce him first. Say hello and welcome to Jace Fox. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, and it's an honor to be here, man.
We're glad to have you. You're from Andre's neck of the woods.
I am.
Jace is a great guy, great channel, good dude. Love hanging out with him.
Thank you. Same to you, man.
Yeah. And also with us, of course, is the one, the only Script Doctor, PhD. How you doing?
Oh, just staying warm, but happy to be here.
Nice. Glad. Well, hopefully it's warm up there. It is cold as shit here. We got some snow yesterday.
Yeah. Oh man, indeed. You need to start burning that stuff to keep warm.
Rain before that. Like, damn. And then we got Jesse Miller of the Crow's Nest. How you doing, my friend?
Pretty good with shaking.
Shake and bake.
Well, shake and bacon.
El Diablo and the Magic Man.
And I help. And also, that other voice you hear is the one, the only man with the golden locks, Culture Casino.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for being here. I just went live for an hour talking about a story we might cover here for a couple minutes. So
yeah, I'm actually probably going to have you break that down for us a little bit.
Sounds fun.
As people start rolling in here. We're expecting a Mexican Iron Man, but he's running behind. So
Mike.
Hopefully he makes it soon. Maybe we'll have another person or two hop in. You never know. The links are out, though. But welcome, everybody. Looks like we got Lindsay in here with the wrench. How you doing, Lindsay? We got Joker Voice in the house saying hello. We got Rob Altus, who brings some ape love to the house. Welcome. We got Rod Thunderheart, who's like here. And then we got Olaf Van Ness. We have Dragon Master 360. Joey is here as well. Batmanuel is here. Yes. Cowboy Bebop is canceled. And hopefully Discovery is next, he says. Well, I don't know about that, but we'll see. We got Goddess of Win here as well. Seeing Runner is in the house. How you doing, Running? We got Lord Trinan here. We've got all kinds of folks here. Sander Hammerslag and so many more. Hit that like button. Hit that share. That helps us out so much here at the channel. And Naked Fame saying hello to Jesse. He must be a Jesse fan. So you already got a fan, Jesse. See? You got a groupie. That's that. Those are called groupies.
Not groupies.
It's a dude, bro.
Yeah, groupies are bad.
So you saying that dudes can't be groupies?
Not unless they're Santa Claus.
This is the 20-aughts, my friend.
Yes, dudes can be groupies.
And then Jace, who happens to be on the panel, just sent in 22 narration quote. Thank you for that. You didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
Just hail everyone.
I want to be nice.
Oh, well, that's awesome. Well, we're glad to have you here. First, let's get to know Jace a little bit for those who may not have met him before. Tell us a little bit about yourself, about your channel, all that good stuff.
Yeah, well, people know me as, Jace Fox. I'm the founder and creator of 540 Studio. And, we talk about the old stuff, all the pop culture shit and, what happens out there. No, we have a lot of new plans. We are making new shows now and just trying to grow. So, yeah.
I'm starting not to trust you Norwegians because you all know how to speak English, and no matter where you're, even though you're all from Norway, you never sound the same. You don't have a specific accent to where it's like, oh, I can tell you're from. Nope, you can't tell. So like you can infiltrate, and nobody would know.
Like the source, we can't locate the source. There's no consistency.
We can't figure it out.
All I'm gonna say, I'm not Swedish. Like your Pop Culture Minefield, and Gary always want to joke about that on Pop Culture Minefield that I'm Swedish, but I'm not.
Yeah, no, what's the deal with that? Because that's like us Americans saying somebody's a Frenchman. Right?
Wow,
that's a pretty good analogy, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, my buddy Arnie was from Norway. He was an exchange student in high school, and he taught me that. I still don't know what the beef is.
They were one country. They were one country, and they aren't anymore.
So it's like it's always a joke that one thing Norwegians and Swedish people have in common, and that's hating the Danish.
I've heard Andre say that before, actually.
The Danes.
You ever notice that everyone except for Norway is known for food? You got the Swedish meatballs. The Danish is literally a pastry.
Really?
Norse has some pretty decent food.
And hail Chris, my co-host and host.
Oh,
for
this is your
future shows.
co-host. All right. Well,
Yeah.
Chris, who is actually I recognize him from the chat. I didn't know he was
Yeah.
your co-host. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, he works in the company.
All
with
right,
me.
cool. Says evening, gentlemen. Hey, Jason, have a great show. Cool.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
sometimes it's hard to correlate between unless you have the exact same icon and name between all of your
Yeah.
elements for me to know that you're always the same person. But sometimes I figure it out.
Yeah.
I have to learn people's gamers tags too. They're totally different all the time. I'm like, dude, uniformity.
Oh my God, yeah.
Go across the board.
Oh Lord, and I've
that's
dealt with
so
so
true.
many different people in the last few days and stupidity in the last few days. I tell you, speaking of stupidity though, culture.
Yeah.
You just got off a podcast yourself on your channel,
Yeah.
and you were talking about who's that. Speaking of Frenchmen, that lovely French actor, Jussie Smollett. How do you say his name?
Yeah. Well, isn't it like Jussie Smollett?
Jussie, no, I
It's a
think the J is
Jussie
silent.
Smollett.
No, it's Jussie Smollett, right? Yeah, and he actually, he did a bad thing, and he got in trouble for it. A jury of his peers spent a little bit yesterday and all of today, for the most part, deliberating, and they came to this result today as a result of his fake hate crime. They found him guilty on 5 of 6 charges. He was found. Basically, he's convicted at this point in time. The only charge he was not found guilty of was charge number 6, which was aggravated battery, which means he was wearing a hood or mask to conceal his identity. So they obviously took their time getting through all of the charges. I think this last one is what they got hung up on, because he was actually the battered person in this hoax. So maybe that probably.
Well, he was beating himself up, so I think that's an abstract charge. They didn't actually have to do this charge at all. I don't know why it was even.
They're like, technically, he didn't tell them to wear masks. They thought of that on their own.
Well, all I know is that he was found guilty on 5 of 6 by a jury of his peers. I think at the end of the day, with everything that's come out during the course of this trial, there weren't a lot of people that would have maybe found him innocent. Let's just put it that way, considering that he essentially did a dry run that's on video where he circled the block 3 times, amongst other things, the day before.
I saw him out there duct taping X's down on the street.
This is how I do it.
Yeah. But I do know this. Like I said, I mean, a lot of his story kind of fell apart from the very beginning. If you looked at the body cam footage that came out to the public, showing the interaction they had with him, and he was still wearing the clothesline rope around his neck thing and all that other stuff. So, anyway, so let's keep going. But anyway, I'll read the whole thing. Smollett was stoic as the jury read the verdict. The actor sat upright and stared straight ahead without showing any real emotion. Judge Lynn said he will order a pre-sentencing investigation, and attorneys will meet via conference call to determine a date for pre-sentencing motions. Now, here's an aside. I actually did a little bit of research, and according to the story in the New York Post, the actor faces up to 3 years in jail for the crimes, and he will be back in court on January 27th. So that'll be his sentencing date.
He gets to spend 3 years in jail for getting his ass beat, and he paid to get his ass beat. That's the possibility. That's out there, and I don't think that's what's going to happen. And he
won't
probably. Let's be real here. How much time do you really see him sitting?
Well, I'm going to say what I said.
6 months.
I say 50%.
I don't even know if it's a year and a half. Let me put it this way. I said it in the chat that I was in during the thing. And a lot of the people in the chat during the live stream I just got off of probably think the same thing. We're going to see the on display the effects of a 2-tier justice system. And he's going to get absolutely the bare minimum there, even though what he did is despicable, reprehensible, whatever words you want to throw at it, which,
exploitative.
And think about it. This inspired additional hate. This action inspired additional hate.
That's the entire purpose of it.
And it could also have influenced a political race, right? Could have influenced a lot of various things.
This could have started a fucking race riot.
Yeah, it could have.
It really fucking could.
Another Rodney King. Jeez.
Yeah. And that would have been terrible. Would have been terrible.
Let's say he just does a month.
Yeah.
Let's say he does 3 years. Either way, what's more important is how is his time being served? Is he going into the county lockup with all the degenerates, or is he going to be in a nice little private area like Martha Stewart?
Yeah, he will probably be in more of a blue collar situation. Would be, my thought process. I think that'll probably be part of the pre-sentencing discussions that happen between the prosecution and the defense. But it doesn't, and let's be honest here. He also has a situation where it'll be very difficult for him to travel internationally and a whole lot of other things because again, he's been convicted in this case of a felony. But we're going to keep going. I want to read the whole story so that we have the entire picture. The judge also said that the jury will not be speaking to the media today if they ever choose to do so. They're not compelled. By the way, the judge will always tell you at the end of a jury trial, you have no obligation to speak to the media. So just remember that. He is also having deputies escort them home this evening, which they already did. Of course, the story is now over an hour old. The 39-year-old Empire alum was charged with 6 counts of disorderly conduct related to false statements to Chicago police officers regarding a 2019 hate crime against himself. In 2019, he claimed that 2 men attacked him due to his skin color and orientation.
So now, could he be charged with a hate crime too himself?
Meanwhile,
technically he was, I think.
Yeah, okay.
He was attacked for his skin color, which all 3 guys are black.
Like, he only states the hate crime against himself because of his skin color and sexuality.
I don't think that should matter. I really don't. I think
he committed a hate crime against anybody that isn't black because of this action. This
not just that,
and everybody who is black.
Well, what I'm trying to say, no. What I'm trying to say is he kind of, in a way, created a hate crime against Trump supporters.
Yeah, he did.
Right? Like,
definitely.
You could kind of, I mean, that's where I'm kind of looking at it from. But I mean, I could be. Do
you think he could be subjected to? Do you think he could be Tom? I'm going to add to your thing. Do you think he could be subjected to a class action lawsuit by anybody who supported Trump?
That could be a totally open door.
You have to prove damages.
That's
pretty easy.
Problem though.
Here's the damages were Trump wasn't elected.
How could you prove it though?
And I'm paying the financial price in my taxes and a whole lot of other ways.
Yeah, but you have to produce a direct correlation from that incident to that result.
Well, you're right, but it might be false.
If that's the case, we could sue fucking everybody.
I was gonna say you might have a civil like slander lawsuit, but at the same time, you're not gonna really do a whole lot to him, right?
Yeah.
Like because like Scripps, right? Like you have to prove some kind of damages to be able to get any kind of monetary.
My pocket is getting damaged every day with this hyperinflation. But anyway,
but can you prove that? Yeah, but can you unless somebody come in and said this is for Jussie Smollett, like fucked up your store? I mean, you're really kind of.
Well, I feel like there was a crime committed, but it's okay. So anyway, I'll continue.
I agree. A crime was committed.
Yeah, election fraud.
It was. Wait, is that? Oh, wait. Could he get in trouble with the Federal Election Committee because he that was an illegal contribution to the Democratic Party?
Ouch. That's really
anyway, I'll keep going. I don't want to get into it.
Well, here's the other thing too. Has Jussie been held in any sort of detention during the course of this trial?
I don't think
no.
Okay, then they can't give him a time served part of sentencing then.
Yeah, Kim Fox is part of the bullshit. You know what? I'm going to pull up this other story and just read it. I'm not going to
grab this super chat while you're doing that. Mecca J says jail time or not, his career is effectively done. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
You'd be surprised. There's been many celebrities who have served their time in prison that have recovered and had a career.
Alec Baldwin's shooting another movie in January. He just killed a girl.
Careful with the word shooting when you talk about Alec Baldwin. Anyway,
I did. I said killed.
Thunderheart. Yeah, you're true. You did. Tom Hale, Culture Casino script, Jesse Miller and Jace Fox. Just hoping to keep your lights on. Hope things are all right. Waiting on plumber. Well, hopefully you're waiting on a regular plumber, and it's not.
Yeah, hope things are okay too, because you're also in Canada and it's getting cold, and I hope your pipes haven't frozen or you don't have any ice issues.
Shit, that would suck.
Yeah,
I've been there, man.
I've always been afraid of that.
Yeah, DCV Titan says Juicy, soon to be Juicy. Yes.
Oh boy.
I mean, he's going to a place where he's not going to really be too uncomfortable with the lifestyle.
Well, as Infinity Player says, Juicy is about to get squeezed. Well, I think you guys are right. He's going to be kept in pretty much.
He's going to be well protected, I think. Yeah.
Now, was it true that he was actually banging one of his employees here?
He tried to tell that story. I'm not sure
There's
how
a
many
bunch of convoluted shit there.
There was some really strange testimony, actions by the defense. I mean, there was some oddness in this trial, and I mean, again,
so it's a gay hate crime too, but they're both gay.
Yeah, it's very strange. I mean,
we don't know on the other part, but he was accusing. Okay, this is what I gathered from his accusation. He was accusing the attack was prompted by rejection from the other one's passes, or some shit like that, or because they were upset with Juicy making a pass at one of the brothers. So he was trying to push it out there that this crime was. It's not about that. It wasn't what I thought it was in the first place. But they were definitely beating the shit out of me because I was gay. Right, that's what he was trying to posit, I believe.
Except by his own contradictory testimony, it's highly unlikely. But anyway,
none of the shit
he spent too much time on Millie and he didn't get to Vanilli, so there was problems.
That might have been it.
Again, I'm just going by the one thing I read. I haven't really kept up with this, and that's why I'm relying on you to do this today. Of course, Culture, because
it's certainly no Rittenhouse trial.
Yeah, because it sounds like a gay on gay hate crime.
It could be.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
All of this is dumb. None of this should have been here. The guy should have done a mea culpa, pled down to something small. And
no, I think he really thought that he could pull this out into the court of public opinion.
It didn't work.
Save his ass when that's not how the law works. I think that's what a lot of and I hate bringing this up, but like the whole thing with the Rittenhouse case where you had a lot of people just freaking the fuck out. It's like, look, the law doesn't give a shit about what you feel, right? You can sit there and be pissy all day long about something, but the law is the law, and that's how the court works. Now, I'm not saying that every court system is fair. It never has been. But if the judge follows the rules of the law, then in most cases, things will go the way they're supposed to go. That's why I've always said, I have no problem with the American way, right? Like, I always feel like that's a big problem that people have with, oh, Superman shouldn't say that because America's this and America's that. It's like, no. Wait a minute. The values and the laws that are in place for America, if those who were meant to, make sure they actually are being upheld did their job, then everything should run smoothly, right? Like the problem is we have too many people with too much money who have too much power. And of course, there's, this is the same argument I've had for the last week online. It's like, it's not about race. See, it's about class. And that's where this whole thing got really kind of blown out of proportion because, it used to be we were all pretty unified against the man, right? We all knew who the man was. The man was government. The man was corporate America.
He was a square conservative thing. Yeah, basically like anti-freedom. Yeah.
Exactly.
You're preaching to the choir here, Thomas.
And then what they do, they added white in front of the man. And that's where they're like, oh, well, we can take the heat off of us. We just make them go after all the white men. And then we won't have to worry about it. And I'm sure plenty of them are more than willing to sacrifice the white man because they got money and security. They don't give a shit. They're on their way out. They don't care.
We don't have money and security.
Not us, but those that are pushing for this bullshit. Right?
Yeah. Again, during this other trial that I'm not going to go into on this stream, you're seeing a lot of corporate resignations again, and I know we'll go into that probably on Thursday Throwdown. But let me get through this.
They started quitting real fast, man.
Yeah, this is from the Post.
A little off kilter, but yeah.
Yeah, this is from the New York Post article. I want to get through this real quick so that you have some more perspective because I didn't cover any of that. Good to see you, Hamdinger. In the lead up to the ruse, Smollette acquiesced that he'd sent 4 text messages to Amendola giving him status updates on his delayed flight, but claimed it was because he and his trainer had plans to work out that night, while prosecutors said the texts were proof that they were coordinating with each other. I think
work out as a code. When I say let's work out, that means I want to fuck you.
Maybe so. The hate crime Smollett claimed he suffered sparked
out.
That's John Travolta, though. Sorry.
It was. The hate crime Smollett claimed he suffered sparked international outrage and then disgust when police said that he made the whole thing up. The actor was originally charged with staging a hate crime in February 2019, but in a stunning reversal, Chicago prosecutors dropped all the charges against him if he agreed to forfeit $10,000 in bond and showed proof that he'd completed 2 days of community service.
Wow, what must be nice.
We all know who that
all
was.
That white, I mean, wait, what kind of privilege does he have here? I forget.
I don't know, but here we go. Rich privilege. In the backdrop of Smollett's failed performance as a hate victim, scandal soon engulfed Cook County's state's attorney Kim Fox, who's going to be in even more trouble now, who was widely criticized.
No, but she delayed this trial for years.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. She was widely criticized for the move and was later found to have made a series of unethical blunders in her handling of the case. A former state appellate judge, Sheila O'Brien, managed to convince a judge that a special prosecutor was needed to investigate the office's handling of the case in a scathing ruling that summer. Judge Michael Tuman agreed and declared Fox's case was void from start to finish.
Okay, now who was it? Was it Jussie's lawyer or was it this chick who fled the courtroom because the judge scoffed
Jussie's
at her?
Lawyer. Jussie's lawyer.
Okay, what's that all about? I heard something about that.
She like walked up and was having a conversation with the judge. The judge basically overruled her, and then she tried to push for a mistrial because she stated that the judge lunged at her. And I know. And then
it's not fucking Judge Dredd, honey.
And then
it's not.
But wait, it gets better. And then she left the courtroom in near or in tears, depending upon anecdotally who you hear that from. She left the courtroom with her mother right after that incident.
Are you fucking kidding me? Can we get a 13-year-old troll in here? We need a 13-year-old troll.
No, that's the defense, man. It's the defense. It doesn't. Anyway, let me finish. I'm almost done. Jeez,
sorry, dude.
Tuman later appointed Webb as a special prosecutor who brought renewed charges against Smollett in 2020. The actor faces up to 3 years in jail, and we'll find all of that out on January 27th. So there you are, guys.
Sorry, I didn't interrupt you near the end.
Nah, I don't care. I don't care.
No, I just thought that was a funny story.
No, it's friggin' great.
It's funny.
Says, okay, now that he is done, time to bring down and expose Jizzle and the traffickers. Yeah, well, see, now isn't that one of those things where since it's
it's one of those things that the man doesn't like you talking about because it's all true, so you're not allowed to.
Well, that part too, but
everything's been redacted in that case. I can't even believe the names of the powerful people were redacted. Yeah. They don't want you to know all of the protected people. I mean, seriously, this is two-tier justice. If you want to talk about the man, that's the man.
Exactly my point, Culture, and that's what I've been saying for the last few days. Is like, you can cry racism this and racism that and systematic this and systematic that. It has nothing to do with the color of your skin. It has everything to do with the color of your money.
Yeah, how come I could get 8 different angles of Kyle Rittenhouse popping a pedophile, but I can't get like one audio recording of what goes on inside of that courtroom?
Well, you're not wrong. DCV Titan says Sony heightens censorship of attracted women in games. Sony VP caught in cheese pizza sting. Coincidence?
Oh yeah, that's true.
So he doesn't like adult attractive women. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the problem was that was the PS5 lead engineer, the designer, and he was caught red-handed by that group that is People versus Pedros. Yeah. And so they went. They basically went and confronted him and caught him. So I mean, there's no doubt about what he was doing. And
what do you mean caught him? Do they have like a
sting operation?
They're doing everything they can. They keep stinging these people, right? This is just a group of people that are concerned about this kind of activity, doing exactly the same thing the FBI was doing a few years ago that I don't know, we don't hear about anymore. But anyway,
I got a feeling it's a lot of the same people in both groups. Who do you think trained these people to be able to find said people?
But anyway, so they're targeting these people. They got the PS5 lead engineer, and as of yesterday, as far as I know, he's still listed as with Sony on LinkedIn. I can't believe they didn't fire him right away.
I thought you were going to say missing.
Really? Goddamn.
We'll have to see. But I mean, you're seeing more and more of this happen with more and more of these people that are, they think they're untouchable.
Yeah. So I'm a PlayStation fan. What exactly did this guy do? What can you say on there?
He likes to
arrange a meeting.
Yes.
That way.
Oh, he got the Chris Hansen.
Kind of.
Yeah,
not Chris Hansen. Yeah.
And the funny part is that he was wearing the PS5 t-shirts.
Oh no!
He's like, I brought a PS5.
Shit.
Good commercial, right?
Oh shit! Well, at least it's better than candy in a fucking van. Chris,
it's better. Wait.
There's a lot.
Are you just never afraid to make a better deal?
Well, now you mention it, I never thought of it that way. And as Chris brings up here in the chat, and I think Culture was about to bring up as well in the story here, Juicy revealed that Don Lemon from CNN was leaking info from the police investigation to him. So does that mean that we got another member of the CNN team who might be
that's a conspiracy charge right there?
Yeah.
George.
This is a journalistic ethical conundrum, just like Mr. Chris Cuomo went through. If you already fired Chris,
worse, because at least with Chris, he's got the excuse that he was protecting his brother.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe
Don Lemon was protecting his prospective boyfriend.
Who knows? But again, among the surprising claims,
let's get things straight here.
Yes, but this is straight from Jussie. So here it goes. Among the surprising claims made in Smollett's testimony was the revelation that the actor received a text from CNN's Don Lemon supposedly relaying information that the Chicago Police Department didn't believe Smollett's account of what happened. I can't wait to read this, the entire, I'll read the whole transcript because I want to see what this actually was, but unbelievable.
Yeah. All right. Next, can we get rid of Trevor Noah because he's another cuck?
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Yeah. Green lives matter.
I'm making a list. I'm checking it twice.
Anyway, so basically, this entire story just is all of that. Okay, so here we go. The charge. Okay, the charge is a Class 4 felony that carries a prison sentence of up to 3 years. But experts have said, if convicted, Smollette would likely be placed on probation in order to perform community service.
Yeah,
of course.
There you go.
I figured as much. I knew he was going to spend little jail time, if any. I'm not surprised.
So if you're an actor, that means that you get to fake a hate crime and it will use up a bunch of resources and lie to everybody through your teeth.
Well, it's not just an actor, but anybody who has money, Jesse.
You get to hang out in your mansion with
money talks.
Money talks, man.
Well, they deliver weed to your house.
Because he's got all that white privilege, Jesse.
I know, right?
Well, I mean, the bigger bills in the United States are mostly white than green.
Now he's going to write a book about how he faked a hate crime and make more money than he would have if he didn't fake the hate crime. Fuck these people. Fuck every last one of these people.
So he would actually be the one with the book that says how I did it.
Yeah, right.
Well, no, you're not wrong though. Watch, there's some network.
I'm surprised OJ ain't done that yet.
No, you're right, Jesse. There's somebody who'll give him a book deal. There's some network out there that'll do the Jussie Smollett story.
Yeah, Netflix. Yep. Netflix will pay him $5 million.
Actually,
the story.
Interestingly enough, very quickly about a book deal. Chris Cuomo just had his book deal pulled.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, he had a book deal pulled. The publisher said, "Yeah, nah."
Well, Hillis Mallory, I got to disagree here. He says Smollett is not an actor, not anymore. Oh, he was an actor. He was a bad actor.
He was a real bad actor. He could convince the Chicago PD, one of the most corrupt institutions in the state, of a crime.
That firefighter show they had was garbage.
Yeah, he's just a bad actor. That's all.
He was, even in Empire.
I didn't even know who this guy was until he faked the hate crime.
Pretty much
later on, I heard out that he was in Mighty Ducks. I'm like, oh, well, that's nice.
He was in Mighty Ducks?
That's what I heard. Let's word on the street.
I don't remember him in the Mighty Ducks.
I don't fucking know.
Maybe unless he was in the background.
Wait, he's 39. No, he's 39. The Mighty Ducks was 92.
If I don't remember wrong, he was also in Alien Covenant, right?
Is that possible? Let me look here. Let's look up Mr. Smollett's.
I think he was in the 92 Mighty Ducks.
He would have been 11, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long do you think it's going to... Let's start at Deadpool. How long do you think it's going to take before he finds himself a boyfriend in prison that he didn't ask for? Because that first meal he's going to sit down and somebody's going to take something off of his tray.
He played Terry Hall in Mighty Ducks in 1992.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
The first Mighty Ducks?
Yeah, 1992.
Yeah, he was.
No shit.
I don't remember him at all.
Oh, he's the little kid in the background.
Oh wait, he's a kid that's probably in the street hockey game, right?
Yeah, he's barely there. Right?
Yeah, he's playing with Goldberg.
Yeah, he's way back there. That's him. That's him.
He's not even on the team.
Oh, he wasn't even
barely even in the fucking movie.
I remember that little Italian kid. He was actually in movies. The rest of them, I don't know what to save my life.
Juicy.
Oh, wait a minute. The older looking
there's
kid,
Foggy
wasn't he the
Nelson.
lawyer on Daredevil?
Yeah.
Yep, that's Foggy. Yep.
There you go. He's cool. The rest
Whatever happened, I have to tell you, Daredevil was so well cast. Daredevil's. I believed Foggy was Foggy, right? I believed. There was no character that they cast that wasn't exactly what I expected them to be. Even with Kingpin, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was also quite surprised with the night nurse. Her name's escaping me right now, but crap. Rosario Dawson. Holy crap! I actually was surprised.
The night nurse. She was good in that.
She was really good in that. Yeah.
I get turned off by her easily because I'm so anti her politics. But
she
did a great job. Yeah. She played that character well, and I wasn't all about the guy that they had playing the Punisher because he didn't like. I like the Thomas Jane Punisher, where
Thomas Jane was a great one.
Yeah,
because he was pretty good. Thomas Jane has lost a lot of weight since then. He's like real thin these days.
Yeah, even though the movie wasn't the best, but the fan film.
I'm gonna pick a fight right now with Jesse. You're wrong.
Okay.
Barenthal was a great Punisher.
He was good. He was good. It's just I would have liked a little more facial emotion. Or a little more just.
Well, Barenthal's got a weird face for a Punisher type character, but I thought he did a great job with.
Oh, his punishing was amazing.
I liked that. I did like the Punisher show.
He shot that guy in the face with a shotgun. Pow! No fucks given. Yeah,
dude, he got like a drill in the foot. And he's just like more.
He didn't give a fuck.
Well, speaking of Marvel, that leads us into our big top story here to the day. Tom Holland has signed on for Venom 3, according to Mikey Sutton.
Didn't see that coming.
Oh yeah, no, didn't see that. According to
Mikey has a lot of
screen,
right.
Venom 3 is among the films that in which Tom Holland has been contractually obligated to be in.
So in the next 3 movies, we get to see Black Suit Spider-Man because he's going to get it from Tom Holland. And he's going to have to get it back.
Who knows what they'll
do? I'm sorry, I should.
Who knows what they're going to do?
I really just mainly want to get into this because for over almost a year and a half now, I've been saying things are going to change. Ever since they got back together at Sony, I'm like, there's a new deal. There's a new deal. There's a new deal. There's a new deal. People aren't listening to me. So I think I've earned this. What do you guys think? Did I earn it?
Well, I didn't have any doubts. I mean, Sony needs a positive relationship with Disney, and they can do that by way of Spider-Man right now.
Let me have my fucking moment, script.
Well, it's all about, this is what they should do, but could they do it legally? And could they make the deal and decide who gets what money and not be greedy? So I'm glad it actually is happening because it makes a hell of a lot more sense.
I fucking knew it! Oh!
And finally Venom can get his spider on his chest.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I hope so.
Have some spider power.
That's something I've been missing in those movies.
Well, and I don't want to get into too many spoilers for Venom 2, just in case there's anybody who hasn't really seen it yet. But
I haven't seen it yet, but spoil away.
I mean, it isn't overly obvious in the movie, but as soon as I saw that and heard, whatever, I knew this was going down. I mean, this was. That was my confirmation. Why do I get Star Trek?
Where else were they going to go? I mean, they used
when they showed the scene with Tom, I was not surprised.
Now, once they introduce the Kraven the Hunter movie, that's when the shit's going to start hitting the fan because that's when you're going to start getting actual, villain cast. It's like the Rogues Gallery is
Kraven is cast.
missing at Marvel.
Kraven's that Craven's
The
that
Quicksilver
Aaron
kid
Taylor
from
Johnson,
MCU.
Yeah, Aaron Taylor Johnson. I can't wait for it. He got yoked, man. Have you seen him? The pictures.
No, I've always enjoyed him though. I
Well, I'm
think
gonna
the
say,
Kick-Ass
I
movies
think
are good.
I think he will play better in that movie than Quicksilver.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But dude, he went and he's been hitting the gym like a beast, man.
He's definitely got the ability to get big.
He's become really big lately. He has, and he was always, a little bit big, but it's just gotten bigger and bigger. Also,
well, you know what? Once you start exercising, like it sucks for a long time, then it gets addictive.
Yeah, it does.
To a
Plus,
degree.
if you got access to Marvel trainers, I mean, you're never getting that again. Use that.
There's that too. You get paid to work out. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So who's excited about this script?
I mean, it's different for me because I'm positive, but like not impressed with the MCU Spider-Man, and I'm positive but not impressed with Sony's Venom. So I'm going in there with positive hopes, but I don't know if it's going to really be anything like amazing that I would otherwise expect.
No, I don't think it's gonna be amazing. I'm not the biggest fan of Tom Holland either, even though I've said plenty of times
I like him as an actor. I just don't like the direction they're taking him.
Yeah, it's like if you see if you watch Devil All the Time or Sherry, he's a really great actor there. Like he really shows his acting skills, and I think that's what they should do with him in the MCU movies. Like try to show those skills of him and get have Spider-Man and not Iron Man Jr. and try to focus on Spider-Man and who Spider-Man is, in my opinion, though.
Well, Spider-Man has this one caveat that kind of it makes him really, really addictive to read and watch on television, but it also kind of keeps him at a plateau for his stories, and that is he only memorizes his greatest lesson. He doesn't actually live up to it, and that's like the whole great power comes great responsibility. He knows that lesson, but he doesn't live up to it because he's constantly repeating the same mistakes over and over. And I am still waiting for some of my my diehard comic book friends to be like, can you please cite me an example where in one issue he learns a lesson and then in several issues later he recalls that lesson and skips making the mistake and succeeds. And it's like, well, it's kind of like really splitting hairs in order for them to justify it. I'm like, that's kind of like the problem. Like they keep him in a form of arrested development. He doesn't, and when he does grow, he's like he gets married and has a kid, he still makes the same mistakes he did when he was a teenager. It's like it's hard to really like a character that does that when you've been following him for so many years. But I can get why like he's one of the most popular characters in the world. He's got cool superpowers. He's got awesome villains. He's got an empathetic like overall story and Genesis arc. And but yeah, like if you want to do a great Spider-Man movie series or TV series, you got to have him like it's got to be like a serialized show, and it's got to be him becoming like a superhero worthy of the name. And then on top of that, you make fun of the fake news media of J. Jonah Jameson because that's exactly what he is, and
that's what he is and always been. So no, so I'm not excited for Venom 3. I didn't like Venom 2 as much. And
I'm not. But Jace, are you excited to see the Spider-Man? Can't find my way home or some shit.
Well, I do have the premiere tickets. I do with me and the girl that I'm dating because we are gonna watch it. But I'm not excited. It is a date, I want to have someone with me when I'm going to watch the movie because I know I'm going to get bored really fast. I'm not excited at all. They have a lot of things they have to explain in that movie with some of the villains, like Dr. Octopus, for example. He didn't die by Spider-Man's hands, if you've seen the movie either. He sacrificed himself to save everyone.
He didn't say by hands. He said fighting Spider-Man. So
yeah, fighting then. But still, there's a lot of things they have to explain, and I'm not excited. I have not liked any of the Spider-Man movies they have made. So,
I liked the first one. I didn't like Far From Home as much.
Well,
go ahead, Walter, and then I want to get Jesse's take.
Oh, I hated them. I'm like, this isn't Spider-Man.
It reminds me of.
The first one was passable. It wasn't good. Wasn't anything redeeming about it. The second one was friggin' train wreck, and this one I have very low expectations for. Right, the only thing that's bringing eyeballs to this are people better like Spider-Man's.
Yeah, and another thing that I had problems with when I first, saw Homecoming and everything is that I started to think about Miles Morales because a lot of the things they have done in those movies reminds me of, Miles Morales. You know, you have Gunky Lee, who is, you know, the best friend of Miles, who is now Need Leads, and you have so many aspects from the Miles story that they have just put in this Spider-Man MCU universe that I didn't like.
Yeah, well, that also stems back to, I think, a rights issue to a degree with Marvel. They didn't get permission to use some of the other characters in Peter Parker's universe, so they had to kind of mix and match.
No, it was more of a stipulation. They forced Marvel into using basically 25% different versions of all these characters because Sony wanted to keep them on the other ones on ice just in case they wanted
this one failed. Yeah,
and if there was new versions of those other characters, then that would cause some issues legally. So this was all that's why I understand, like, because a lot of like Peter's side characters and stuff like that are basically reskinned versions of Miles Morales characters as friends and stuff like that, and it's a lot of
kind of ironic
illusion. Yeah, it's like that part of the shit I don't like. And as far as the first film, I'll sit there and defend the whole Spider-Man, Iron Spider Jr. bullshit or whatever, because the whole point of the first movie is him doing it without his help.
Yeah, he succeeds without the tech, and then on top of that, I think I love the dynamic between what they do with the Vulture and
Michael Keaton. And just
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton was the best part in the whole movie. But that's the only thing that I
agree on the second film. Like Iron Man looms way too heavy in that second film.
Way too much.
It's too heavy-handed.
I just didn't like the second film at all. Like the first one was all right, and the second one, the best part about it is, of course, seeing Marissa Tomei.
Yeah.
But it felt like three different movies with three different vibes just glued together. Then the villain was stupid.
Yeah,
so
I hated.
Okay, fuck this.
Face, yeah.
Well, Jake Gyllenhaal was a good choice. They just didn't. I mean, and they had an inventive way to do it, but it just didn't feel.
If they didn't Mandarin his ass like they keep fucking doing, why do they keep doing that?
Yeah,
the only thing that the only thing that I did like was, you know, the suit, and they did cast a great actor, but they didn't do it justice, in my opinion.
Oh, the suit was great.
Stop doing
that.
The suit was amazing, but it's like, the whole convoluted, the multiverse is real, it isn't real, is it real?
Yeah.
Look, the special effects in the costuming department, that they know what they're doing. It's the people who are actually putting the story together. They need to actually just go get some comic books, photocopy them, and put them up on the wall.
This is kind of a conversation we started having, I think, the other morning on Midnight's Edge After Dark, in the morning, but I don't think you were able to join us that morning. But where we kind of were talking about how the MCU is just kind of crushing under the weight of itself. Do you feel that kind of in the?
I would say it's crushing under the weight of itself because it's afraid to commit to what it started. I mean, since Avengers, it's been trying to distance itself from what makes Marvel awesome. Like they bring in Hawkeye, but they don't give him the outfit. They don't even explore anything going on with him. He's just like an ancillary spy character. Then when they go for Thor, they're focusing more on the overall plot of the big event film that they're planning with the Infinity Stones than they are with like leaning into all the fun, weird, kooky natures between all these characters. And I think one of the biggest mistakes they did was they tipped their hand too early by having Hydra having infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. all these times. They got rid of S.H.I.E.L.D. at like a pivotal point where they could have had a lot more fun and a lot more stories to explore. With that, if anything, I would have said, let's do the Infinity War, keep all the characters alive, and then have at that after Endgame the reveal that Hydra has resurged within S.H.I.E.L.D. and has corrupted S.H.I.E.L.D. S.H.I.E.L.D. is now gone, and then you bring it back in the Red Skull, and then you have like a whole new arc to explore. But no, they kind of just rushed their way through, and most likely for financial reasons, as what seems to be indicated by their choices in recent years.
Yeah, and then we kind of just got to the point where they needed to go more ground level. They needed to explore more of the aftermath of what had happened after.
They never should have had that 5-year time jump. That was
that really killed it.
Yeah, no.
I think I agree. Spider Unlimited says, will he get the Academy Award nomination? I think he's talking about Jussie Smollett. If it's for the fuck up award, yeah.
Or hating himself award.
No, I think it's
the piece of fucking trash award.
And then Steven says, hail Tom, Chase, Culture, Jesse, Script, Mods, and Chat. Well, hello, Steven. On the way home from West Side Story. Well, we're seeing in theaters. Looks like I'm back in time for the real news. Oh, so you did enjoy
Oh, that's not bad. I mean,
okay.
I think some of the stuff that's being advertised is not doing it any favors, but I don't see why it would be a bad movie. I mean, it's West Side Story is pretty good on its own.
Well, to be fair, I think like Paulie isn't even like Paulie is one of those who's been really critical of not so much the film itself, but how it was treated by the media.
Yeah, the advertising is messed up,
and how it was kind of how the media kind of went after In the Heights, but like this movie's okay.
But I enjoyed In the Heights too, because like that should have had a better push. Yeah, Paulie's absolutely right. In the Heights should have had a better push in the media and in advertising, but I think he's correct in that they decided to, go easy on it and not give it its due rewards, so that they could prime the industry for Spielberg's West Side Story remake.
Right. Well, and he's seeing it tonight. I think he's already there, honestly. So I'm sure we'll hear what he thinks about it soon on his channel. So stay tuned, and you can hear what he has to think as well. Hillis Mallory sends in 5 and says, "Script, you're explaining basic comic narrative, especially Marvel cartoon." It used to be anyway.
It used to be a continuity, but now
it's stuff. I would say like up into the mid 80s, Marvel was doing really, really good with a lot of their bigger titles, and then the 90s. Yeah.
Well, that's where like a lot of these idiots who are arguing with me on Twitter, it's like, oh, he's been Spider-Man for 10 years. It's like, that's supposed to mean shit to me. Like, how many times have they redone this shit, revamped this shit? We're in how many different multiverses now? And this fucking individual has died, and this person is dead, and this person's come back to life. And it's like, I think
they keep interchanging Spider-Man between Peter Parker and Ben Reilly.
Yeah, I don't like that whole thing either with Doc Ock. I thought that was fucking stupid too. And I know it's.
I thought it was stupid, but I thought it was also really funny how he is a superior Spider-Man.
It's all very stupid, in my opinion. I mean, I get it.
Yeah, I remember that.
But it gets very soap opera.
And here's the weird thing: it's like on paper, before I actually started reading the character of what Miles Morales was done, like the execution-wise. On paper, it seemed like you have a lot of potential as a character, but they just didn't utilize that because he has a cloaking power, he has a stinging power aside from his other weapons.
No, they try to make him more and more like Peter.
Yeah. But then they basically just said, okay, well now he has both of his parents, but he's also a really smart kid, socially awkward, and short for his age. And it's like, can we get something different? I mean, you already give him different powers and a cool suit. You're keeping the name, and you're keeping basically the parameters of the character.
Yeah, it's real kind of.
Yeah.
It's like you just reskinned him and let his parents still be alive. And
yeah.
And he's the nephew of the Prowler.
That's lazy because in the end, it's like you really didn't create a new character. It's just
there's like 4 different Spider-Women that are all different in their own, and they're not very similar at all. But like, there's one that's a mutant, one with natural powers, one with like sorcerer's powers. And they all are their own thing. Like it's like Spider-Woman, Arachne, and another one. And it's like, okay, they're all their own characters, and they've had their own stuff going on. But now when we're the Spider-Man side of things, it's really what it is. It's just kind of like a pseudo version of like a clone Spider-Man story. So instead of like Spider-Man, and then the Scarlet Spider, and there's another one, and they were just all 3 guys with the same powers. And now it's like, okay, we have another guy, not a clone, same powers with a couple extra new ones, and we're still going to call him Spider-Man. It's like, I mean...
Well, and I get it. There's nothing new under the sun, right? Like, there's only so many different things you can do. I get that. But look at something like Hancock, right? It takes the basic idea of what Superman is, but it's like, what if we made him an average, everyday Joe? Right? Like,
what if we made him an alcoholic?
Made him an alcoholic, made him actually have some problems. Don't call it Superman. It's different. It's fun. Yeah, like that I don't mind. But like if you're gonna sit there and you're gonna try and pretend that it's something different, and you even have the name Spider-Man on it, for fuck's sake, it's like don't fucking piss down my back and try and tell me it's raining here, right? Like that kind of a thing. But Ironcaster says that Jace, how's my favorite Danish?
Oh, yeah.
I think
you're not a baker, Jace.
And Ironcaster, you know that if you're gonna be like this, you're gonna get that crop top from our merch store, and you have to wear it. And I know you will like it.
So be careful. Like it, so. A manly man can still make a crop top look good. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, but the crop top has to have the dungaree shorts halfway up the ass, and we don't need this.
And then we got Nick in the house. How you doing, buddy? He sends in $15. I saw you pop in here. Says Cowboy Flicks canceled. Juicy Boy guilty. It's a good day. Cheers to this panel and chat. Yeah, that gets us to our next story. So
everything has been going okay lately.
Who here is not surprised? Or should I say, who here is actually surprised? That's the better way to.
I was not surprised.
Yeah, because I'm sure we're all not surprised that Cowboy Bebop has been.
I couldn't even
canceled.
finish the first episode.
I've never seen Cowboy Bebop, but I saw the trailer to the show, and it just looked like another stylized thing. I mean, the lead actor was a good actor, but I have no idea what the original was or what's changed, or if it's just completely something different than what the show is supposed to be. I have no idea.
Wait, Cowboy Bebop?
Yeah.
Yes, I know nothing of the Bebop.
It's changed pretty substantially. They're trying to expand upon the original.
That always works out.
They're not doing a good job of it. They did, race swap. Again, that doesn't even bother me. It just you're trying to expand something.
Character, well, they were already trans or whatever, but they changed the reasoning behind.
Oh
it.
They destroyed the reasoning behind Grenz, right? But that's not. I don't even need to get into any of that. All I have to say is, and we're getting more, or we would have gotten more of this travesty, right? I mean, it was so negatively received, right, that even though it made it into the top 10 for a period of time, they're like, nah, we ain't gonna do this again. Bad idea, Jeans. And and then I heard tell today we're gonna get fucking Santa Inc. 2. Jesus Christ, are you kidding me?
So here's my question, because I have not seen the live action adaptation, but the original anime cartoon of Cowboy Bebop was only one season anyways. So did the Netflix try to do that whole season in whatever episodes they had, or did they split it up? I have no idea.
They're breaking it up. They're breaking up the first. They're not even anywhere close to the middle even of the first season or the only season of Cowboy Bebop. So there is a way to watch it so that it makes the most sense, because there's a film that you kind of need to stick in there before the last two episodes. But Cowboy Bebop is a complete story, and yes, there is a ton of room to expand this universe within the storyline that's there. But they went about it in just. I'm not going to get into it. I'm still pissed about it, so it really doesn't matter. But you didn't stay true to the characters.
Nope.
It is great, by the way. The actor that plays Spike is amazing. I think
John Cho.
Yeah. But he's a little too old for the character. It kind of shows.
Yeah, because he's older than I am, man.
Yeah, but he's a great Spike Spiegel. But see, at the same time, he's great at it, right? If you ever watched something you said about every aspect of it, except for obviously the deviation that I'm not talking about at the moment, but the aesthetic is almost right. That is this entire show.
Yeah, totally. Called He-Man.
Yeah. It's like this is almost right. And this is almost right. And this is almost right. That's this entire thing. The only thing they got right was the music.
And they just took that from Sunrise anyway.
But it's so funny that they never learn from their mistakes. When every time they make, a live action movie of an anime or a manga, now they're also doing a One Piece series on Netflix, live action. Well, and they did a Death Note, and they're gonna do more. And
terrible. Oh my god. Ugh.
Ryuk was good. But that was the big William Dafoe.
Oh yeah, but he's always good. I mean,
right.
That doesn't save the show. The show, everything about it, except for him and his voice, sucked.
Yeah,
it was terrible.
And I'm a big Death Note fan. That's one of my biggest things. And it's
I
do have a guilty pleasure for the next Netflix movie, but that's just because it's Death Note. I don't like the movie in that way, because I look at the movie like a totally different movie than Death Note. It looks like a normal teenager bad movie, like you see every time.
Well, we got a couple of super chats here that have to do with Spider-Man, so I'm going to grab these real quick. Goddess of Whim, thank you so very much for the $5. Says, I feel bad for Spidey. They always overstuff his movies with villains. Spidey hasn't really gotten to be Spidey. Holland needs more sarcasm as Spidey. Yeah, especially in that last movie. That was one thing I was missing. He was more sarcastic and stuff in Civil War. I loved that. and I loved the first Spider-Man movie, but since then I'm like kind of waiting to see if this new movie kind of gets things back on track.
No,
he still also
It's
has
not.
that too innocent sounding youthful
That's
voice.
my problem with him. Yeah, he's got,
and that's what's been with every live action Spider-Man. Sadly,
he's got that
they
too
all
much of that
sound
shucks me kind of thing.
but they're not letting him grow up. I mean, I
think here's the thing, Culture. I know a few things about this next movie. I think we're finally going to get to see the point where he gets to grow up a little bit. Okay, I'm going to say that. So I as I've been telling people for a while, they've got him planned for the next almost decade's worth of movies. We're going to see him grow into Spider-Man. Tom Holland ain't going anywhere for a while. So
no, he's got 3 more movies. God bless him.
No, he's got five more movies. Dude.
No, I mean 3 of his own.
Well, 3 of his own plus two other appearances.
Plus, obviously, Venom and another one. Yes,
we already got coming. So we're going to see him 7 times in the next few years.
They have to make him grow. Like in this movie, they have to do something to make him grow.
But I have no expectation for that.
Same. I'm with you, Culture, on that one. I'm not
saying they're going to succeed, but I know where they started, and I know that we've gotten to this point. I'm willing to give them a chance.
Do you realize I still think that the TV show back when I was a kid was better than pretty much anything that the Marvel Sony thing?
And I
believe that too. And the TV show
at the comic book convention.
The TV show is pretty decent, but I would still say not that great. But it is voiced by Greg Brady of the Brady Bunch live action.
My whole thing was that it was following the comics, right? And again, I'm still with you guys on the Raimi Spider-Man 1 and 2 is still the superior Spider-Man films. No matter
they are.
I think Spider-Man 1's better than Spider-Man 2, although Alfred Molina is freaking awesome as Doc Ock.
Oh yeah.
Doc Ock. Oh my God. Okay, so I mean, he literally, you couldn't have done better, and he literally made that movie watchable to me. Like the first film knocked it out the park. The second film, it was good, but it was because of Molina. The third film, I could have just said, I never needed to see that.
Well, that's
weird.
I will disagree with one point. The third one is terrible. That's not what I'm talking about. Spider-Man 2, I will say that Toby got to at least have fun with Spider-Man. Especially in that first 45 minutes or so. All that pizza business, all that. Like, that's Spider-Man getting to fucking be Spider-Man.
Yeah, the biggest problem with Spider-Man is that he loses his powers because he doesn't feel well. Like, that is contrived crap. That's terrible storytelling.
It's bad writing. But we talked about Toby. Tell me you liked Garfield. And because I know a lot of chicks like Garfield.
The cat.
Oh, you're talking about Andrew Garfield?
Yes,
I know.
Yeah.
Garfield the cat.
I will be honest that I enjoy the Andrew Garfield, but that's because I like more darker stories. I'm not a Norwegian,
I didn't hate
I'm
the
a metalhead.
movie.
So
he was good with the one-liners. It's just he had that emo hair thing going on.
And some years ago, I wasn't
trying to be too punk.
The first movie was okay, but it was like we already got one, right? Like that was my problem with that. But let me again, because we got somebody back here.
We do, yeah. This guy's awesome, by the way. Can't wait.
Titan says, "I feel Far From Home was less Spider-Man movie and more of the epilogue of Infinity War and Endgame." Yes, I can understand and agree with this. And speaking of people in the back room, Diego Flores says, "Tom, check Twitter. Why? No Disney. Why dare you? Also, hi, Chase. How's your dad?" Well, you can Diego. And welcome to the show, Diego.
Hey, Diego. News. And thank you for asking. My dad is doing the same old, but a little bit more happy because, he's going to get the operation next year, so he's happy.
Well,
That's good.
And we got Snowdub in the house as well. How you doing? So, Diego, you brought me some news here. I got it. I can bring it up on screen, but I'm going to let you take us through this. This was not on the docket for today, but I know our audience will be interested in this. Here you go, my friend. You're on call here.
Are they really doing a reboot of Firefly?
Yes, it seems they are. Yes.
No, fuck no.
James, I had 5 minutes of screaming and saying "fuck no" and going around.
I had to let him calm down a little bit before he came in.
I've got Firefly right here, and I've never watched it before. I bought the series.
I don't want to get them remake or reboot. I love the original.
Now they're going to reboot
stick with that.
So tell us what's going on here, Diego.
Okay, basically, from what I quickly skimmed through, right? Disney Plus has no better idea than try to give us a reboot of Firefly, even though the story has, been concluded with the movie.
Yep.
And I'm completely worried because, let's be honest, Disney's track record hasn't been the best. I think the only successful reboot so far they've had that's not even a reboot, it's more like a restart of it all, is the Mighty Ducks one, and still it's fun, but it's not something I would say like
Hooch did
it's
okay, but they canceled it.
They've canceled the ones that are good because they don't toe the line of the
I have a feeling
certain agendas. Yeah,
I have a feeling Ducks season 2 ain't gonna happen now that Emilio Estevez walked away. And if it does, it's going to be a pale comparison. But anyway, you're saying, Diego. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I was just trying to think about this, right? Trying to think, okay, what can they do with Firefly, right? As far as I can tell, most likely, instead of just being a story about, a group of misfits in their spaceship, going around in their adventures, doing odd jobs here or there, right? It will most likely try to turn it into some kind of allegory about social problems currently happening in the world today, which is my problem with this is because the fact of the matter is the whole point of the crew of the Firefly, what they represent is that spirit of freedom that the rebels had at the beginning of the whole story, right? During the whole little uprising civil war they had. So it's not necessarily a whole problem of social like aspects of it. It's just the idea of freedom, of one being free to decide what to do with their lives and their home. It's that. But if they turn into something that's more of an allegory about social problems, social issues, it's gonna become a very, very bad product, because it's not gonna be this idea of a space western. It's gonna be more of an idea of maybe a police drama that's not even really real. That's the best I can see it.
So they're recasting it and all that stuff. It's not going to be.
Look, how do you recast this show? Or I mean, the film destroyed.
They're going to race and gender swap everybody you watch.
And you know what? And I promise you, it will have no popularity. There is so much affinity and love for the original characters and the actors that played them.
Oh yes,
I believe this is one of the last things Joss Whedon did that was good in the world.
Yeah, and it had a very, let's not conflate some things here. It had a very passionate fan base, but a very small fan base.
No, it wasn't big. It was
not big, and it should have been, but it was not big. Because there was a huge campaign when that movie Serenity launched.
Yeah,
it was to try and restart the series.
Yeah.
And it wasn't going to happen. Like I knew it in the industry. I was like, I really liked Firefly. I liked the universe. I liked what was going on with the characters. But I just saw the metrics. There was just not enough people getting behind it to warrant that, even though the passion was there, and it didn't happen.
2x2 Hands of Blue script, but no. Yep. And the reason I think, on top of what you just said, was that Joss's attention was divided, and he was on a network that needed one of those things to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Are you talking about like Dollhouse and?
Yeah, everything that he was working on at the time.
Well, not only that, they also aired the show out of order.
They're probably going to make a totally different story and everything. So,
but I like I said, I mean, I own this show in every possible format it was ever put out in. And Nathan Fillion could have been so many other characters along the way that he just wasn't cast for. That I think is a tragedy, because he was ready for a lot of other amazing roles.
He was. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I don't know. I my expectations are low, very, very low. And Tom, could you make this article smaller for the audience? Because unless you're on a 75-inch television,
yeah, they're not going to read. Because I don't. We have the announcement. Do we have a showrunner set up or any sort of?
Is that big enough for you?
That's perfect.
I feel like all of a sudden, you just pulled back your Edgar suit face and just said, "Is that better?"
See, that's normal.
It wasn't Edgar. It's more like an Edgar suit. Well, I like to be able to get the whole picture and shit on screen there.
And then
if he wants to read it, he can read it from his cell. He can read it on his own.
All right, whatever.
I'm not one who likes to scroll. Like, if you guys haven't noticed, this is some inside baseball now. I don't really, this is like an unsaid thing. I don't like to scroll the thing on screen. If somebody's going to read it, I prefer they read it. And like, usually when I do it, I'll do it from a completely different one.
Oh, well,
I just scroll it on screen.
So here's the thing. You have a scroll wheel mouse, right?
But it just looks.
If you push down on the wheel, push down on the wheel.
No, fuck
and
you.
then you can slowly have it scroll, and it's smooth.
I don't
it's
want
pretty.
to.
All right.
I think it looks tacky. I'm talking about this thing. I want this thing up here on screen. That's what I want.
You're not supposed to talk about your thing. You are not supposed to talk about your thing on air. I know that for sure.
I'll put my thing out there on screen all I want.
Okay.
Stop telling me how to treat myself.
I was just gonna say, the fact of the matter is, first, to Script Doctor, no, we don't know who the showrunner is. All we know is confirmed is that Josh Whedon is nowhere near this project. Like, he has no.
Well, these
voice
days
whatsoever.
that's not necessarily a bad thing. So.
Yeah.
And I see people bringing up the Sonic trailer. I saw that drop, but we'll say tomorrow morning. Andre will want to talk about that. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I want to talk about that though, but
I'll let him know you want to talk about it. So
because
I want to talk about it too.
Because,
I see that.
like,
oh my god.
Like, look, but let's be honest here.
I haven't seen it yet, so
you should. It seems interesting. I was gonna say about the Firefly. Also, one thing that I remember when I saw the show, right, in Fox here in Peru, and it was the first time I ever tasted something that's sci-fi that I actually really enjoyed. Right, and it was something that I could say it was my own. It was not something I inherited from my dad, because from my dad I would see things like, Alien or Aliens at the age of 2 and 3. Don't ask why.
Also, gotta raise you right.
Yeah, scaring me. Also, thanks to him, I watched the Event Horizon, which is also one of the reasons why I love 40K, because I think, Jesus Christ. But meanwhile, Firefly was the first show that I found, and I told my dad, look at this. Because it was a space western. It was the one thing that we were missing in our sci-fi lives, right?
Yeah.
And it felt this completion, and I was so proud, because it's like I showed my dad a series for the first time, and I was just a kid, And so for me, this series is very special, and it's also the fact that it's like all the ideas that I've watched the series over and over again over the years, and I've started to understand some of the subject matter that I saw in the original show, and then I didn't get it because I was younger, and now I get it even more. That's why I understood more the whole message of freedom that the whole rebellion was about, and also the idea of why, our main character is the way he is, why he's such, this free spirit in the whole series, because that's part of he was part of the rebels. He was one looking for that kind of freedom, and as well as I started to understand each of the characters even more, seeing where they fit in.
Well, he's a rebel, and he'll never ever be any good.
Oh, that phrase. But I mean, it's that, it's those kinds of things. Also the fact that, for example, we have a prostitute in the whole mix, but she has a very spiritual role around.
I was listening until you brought up spiritual. No, I'm kidding.
Come
I'm
on,
on you, Diego.
Yeah, I know. Or maybe, but you get what I'm saying, right? It's like, it's weird to say it.
It's not going to translate well to Disney. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, because they're going to change her. For example, she's not going to be a prostitute anymore. It's more than obvious, unless they put this on Star. No, unless they put this on Star Plus or whatever, or Hulu or whatever, depending on where you see.
Actually, I could see that happening, but I still don't see them letting the character be a prostitute.
I mean, that's the thing. That's where I'm like, I can see how they're gonna change. I can see how they're gonna limit the story.
Can be, but she has to be trans.
Oh God, no!
Or she'll be a counselor.
That's a bad surprise.
I got rid of your damn counselor video script. I never used it. Now you brought up the counselor thing.
Yeah. Like a social worker thing.
Yeah, or was it a social worker? Yeah.
The social worker, yeah.
Yeah, same difference.
I mean. But the worst part is, I bet you all, the preacher will be completely eliminated.
Oh, Shepherd? Yeah, probably.
Yeah. He will be completely eliminated from the whole story, because they're not going to want to have any religious element to it, even though that was part of the whole idea of his role was to be, as his name says, the shepherd, to guide the crew, because they're lost souls.
And then Chris Rakowski, he corrected us, and thank you for making us do better. Not a prostitute, but an intergalactic non-binary sex worker. And yes, he reminded us that we're bigots. Thank you for that.
She was, by the way, her character was one of my favorite. And I thought she was a great consort.
And a concubine.
That too. And I really, really, I liked, I liked all of the characters. I thought they all had a great place, but Shepherd Book was one of my favorites, but played by an actor who was gone way too early. And I mean, how could you not like Shepherd Book? I mean, you know, and there were times when he had to challenge himself and be able to throw down and basically say, I had a life before this. It was so good. So much in so few episodes. I'm sorry. They did
Diego,
great
you went and brought the doom and gloom. We were having a good fucking time until you showed up.
I have to do it. I bring the grim dark.
No, I'm kidding. We were fighting about Spider-Man anyway. Goddess of Whim 2003. And you may have something to add to this anyway, Diego, because you're an anime fan, right?
Yeah.
Wendy Lee and Steve Bloom, pronounced Bloom, the American voices of Faye and Spike were supportive leading up to the premiere, then suddenly went silent once it dropped. Found that very telling. So have you been checking into the whole Cowboy Bebop Boop show, or?
Like, I actually watched 3.5 episodes.
Ooh.
You know, before I said I saw enough. I can make my opinion out of this because in the Espanol channel we have a rule of we watch at least 3 episodes,
right,
before we do
fair.
a review. You know, and I was going for the 4th, but at one point I was like, why will I continue when I already have an idea of what it's gonna go through? Pablo actually watched it all. The brave soul. Jesus Christ, that series is like it's wrong. It's wrong in so many levels.
And then Hillis Mallory, getting back on Spider-Man, says, after the overall dump of Amazing 2 and the useless parent as spies storyline, the MCU Spidey is a breath of fresh air. This I agree with. It is just every reboot starts in high school. And I get it. And
that's when he gets his powers. So,
but there was kind of a... Well, here's the thing, Culture, and I kind of know where
you're... He was a senior in high school. Yeah. And they leave him a kid for flipping ever.
Or at least the youngest a junior, you know.
Okay, yeah, but at this point, every single movie we've had, he's literally been an adult for most of it. So what's wrong with letting him be a kid for a little bit?
I don't find anything wrong with that, really.
Yeah, I don't have a problem, but if they keep dragging it out after this third film, you will hear me.
If he's not in college by Spider-Man 4, I'm going to be upset.
Yeah, because I said the same thing with the last movie. It's like, you're testing my patience. I've stuck up for the first film. Now they're getting, and I agree with you, Culture. I agree with you to that respect. Like, they're running out of time to keep everybody on board with this. So,
well, is Tom Holland going to still have a cracking voice in this third freaking movie? I
hope not.
Yeah, he's like 30, dude.
They really need to get rid of the shucks Peter. I get that. I agree with you, man. I don't like when because they did kind of
he has had an adult's 3 adult lifetimes worth of experiences as his character, and he doesn't act as an adult in any situation.
I agree that the last movie was
Spider-Man's
a step back.
Tragic flaw.
No, I agree. The last movie was a step back.
Brandy.
It's not a good one. It's one I don't like.
But them having an entire movie where all he does is deal with losing Tony Stark was a bad move. That was a very bad move character-wise.
And the destruction of MJ is a whole other ball game, but I'm not going to go there this time. I'm still pissed about that.
No, but I get where Hillis is coming from, and that's kind of where I'm at too. I mean, and I do understand, and I can't argue too much with guys like Culture. And I understand where you're coming from, man. I do. As a fan of the character, I understand.
No, I know.
And because I can totally understand, because they are totally not listen to me. Totally, I sound like I'm a fucking.
Totally, bro.
Like totally, like no, I can see where they are going with this whole like making him more like Miles thing because of the stupid Sony deal, and hopefully now that that's over with, we'll start to see more of an accurate Spider-Man. If I'm wrong after this, then fuck them. They had their shot. Mecha J says original Firefly was more of a live-action adaptation of Cowboy Bebop than the actual Netflix show. And, you know, I've heard this so many times. Mecha J, you want to?
Yeah, you get this.
I agree.
I feel the same way.
And it's the truth. I mean, it was so well done. Oh my God.
I mean, aren't they very similar plot lines too? I mean, I still have yet to watch Cowboy Bebop, but I mean, as far as
really,
like what they do, as far as
no,
like,
I mean, they're just looking for work. They're not really bounty hunters. They're just looking for any work they can get.
Okay, so that's the difference. It's not bounty hunters. Okay, well, whatever. I haven't watched Cowboy Bebop yet, so. I've just heard this comparison, like I don't know how many times over.
It's basically like the politics of the galaxy, so to speak, and the relationships to colonies and traveling from planet to planet type of thing.
All right. Then James Esperanza is here as well and says, forget the Disney Plus, check out Pens of Dread, my ever-growing channel where I've been solo producing original scary narrated stories. Next story dropping tomorrow. Every story comes with an original soundtrack too. You know what, James? If you have a shorter one that's like only a couple minutes long, send me a link and I'll gladly share it.
And all of us love this stuff, right? Because we have,
I just can't be showing nothing more than like 3-4 minutes long, like that.
And you're out there doing it, James, and we have Storyman Jack who's doing short stories as well. We have amazing creators in our midst, guys. We can support, lift up. What, Diego?
Sorry, just to come on top. Watch Beebop. Yeah.
No, but the goal is that that we support independent creators, and James. I mean, you've got our support, and so many others out there. Mm-hmm. You don't even know.
Who's ready to rock the valley?
I am ready. I'm so ready for this.
But you know what? The All Valley tournament is coming, kids. It is.
Mm-hmm. It is December 29th.
Mad Mardigan's in the house. How you doing, buddy? So...
that trailer was amazing.
And welcome, Darren Hughes. Hughes. Let's see here. Maximum effort.
Sorry.
Ooh. No, go ahead.
Play the puppy.
Terry Silver looks like he's a foot taller in this movie than he used to.
Well, I think it's more so they probably fudged what's his face's height in part 3 more.
A little bit. I love that one.
And strike. Okay, so back to this. I saw this trailer, and I've loved every trailer this point. This one shook my foundation, man. Like every bit of Terry Silver, I was just like a kid in a fucking candy store.
I felt like a kid myself. It's such a long time since I've been so hyped for something, and getting my heart to beat fast, be like, oh my god, I just want this right now. It's long time.
Johnny doesn't even know him. Then he's got to be like, yo, you don't understand. This guy will beat the piss out of you.
Yeah, he's nothing like.
I can't wait.
I know. The best part is it comes out on the 31st of December, so it's like, yes, just to start the New Year's in the proper way.
Perfect.
Well, it's a way to close out the year on a positive note, hopefully. Exactly. And I think season 4 is going to be great.
And also, I was going to say, that moment where Silver tells Danny, like, you have a little bit of Cobra Kai in you.
Oof.
Oh, the tension.
Yes. But you see, okay, so when you look at this, right, this poster image, right, you have the 2 girls up front, right, in front of the 3 guys of each crew. Then you have the 2 father figures on each side. It's flick, but this was well done. This is a perfect poster. I'm very excited for this season. If you're not out there, that's okay. If this isn't your show, I get it. But if you want something that kind of tries to pay homage to where it came from, this is a show for you. And the creator will tell you exactly how to go about doing this. He has no.
There's a great article out there.
Yeah, he's going to tell you how to do the right thing. He really does.
Well, he's one of 3 actually. So like these guys have gotten together, and I think that's important too. Is not just one. I mean, one vision is great when you're creating something.
No, that's true.
But when you're doing something like this, I think you need other voices to kind of say, no. Now you're paying way too much, fan service, or no, that's not going to work just because you want it to work. Like that's the beauty of Cobra Kai up to this point, is it has surprised me at every turn, even though I've pretty much predicted almost everything that's happened. And I know Script's been around the longest to back me up on this. They've still managed to do it in ways that I didn't predict. Like the closest,
I agree.
Yeah,
the closest
you predict
one,
like these things are going to happen, or these characters are going to be involved, but like how they're going to use them has been kind of like out of nowhere.
Yeah, the closest I came was Elizabeth Shue's character, and they still managed to use her in a way I didn't completely predict.
Yeah,
even though she was used in the way I said she was going to be used.
Exactly. Like, they had their own execution for it that was bang on excellent.
But you have Kreese and Silver? Are you kidding me? This is going to be incredible this year. I hope you guys are pumped. I mean,
this is it. I am more pumped for this show. I mean, you guys know me for the most part on this panel, and y'all know I couldn't be more pumped for this show. After this last trailer, I am so fucking pumped for this show. Like, I mean, when I put on Twitter, I piddled a little. That may not be a lie.
No,
So
the lie is the little.
Do you think Tori's dad is Mike Barnes?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Do you think Tori's dad might be Mike Barnes?
See, here's the thing. Everybody keeps predicting that Terry Silver is going to be Miguel's father. I don't see that.
I don't see that either.
I think that's too cheap, too easy. Now you're onto something, though, Script.
Yeah,
because,
no, that sounds right, Script.
Because he's been awfully hush-hush. I've talked to him personally a few times, and he won't talk about certain things, and he's mentioned certain things about Cobra Kai.
Nudge, say tomorrow. He's
exactly kind of shit. So I don't know if he's going to show up this year, but I'm sure he's definitely on the cards to show up. And if you're going to do that kind of a thing, it's more age appropriate, and it would make more sense than having Silver be Miguel's father, because then having Miguel's father being somebody completely different leaves the road open for future things for Johnny.
Yeah, because I think Miguel's father is a completely different person, but part of me thinks that they might make Tori's father Barnes.
Yeah, the Tori.
That makes more sense to me. Yes.
Yeah.
It makes so much sense because he's supposed to be an asshole, and she's
all the way through, and then she's the one that's taking care of her mom because her dad walked out.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's not really her fault. Her dad was just a piece of shit.
It's just. Oh.
He's a nice guy in real life, so it's like to see him be such a piece of garbage on TV would be great.
Yeah.
Well, usually the nicest guys play the best villains, right? Because they relish getting to do that kind of stuff, and they know, usually the real people who are real assholes in real life, they don't always play the best villains. It seems like.
No.
Like, you ever see Bruce Willis play a villain?
Well, but Zabka's one of the nicest people on the planet. So,
I've heard so many great stories about the guy. I mean, like, he's the complete opposite of what Johnny ever was. So, like, that's.
But the thing is that Johnny's becoming closer and closer to like this nice guy. Like he's growing
closer
up
to his actual personality, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Well, and that's what I loved about this trailer is that they point out that exactly like I said was going to happen. They're combining their efforts, and you saw Johnny learning from Daniel, but then you see the resistance when Daniel's obviously probably it comes to that point where he's like, well, aren't you going to take anything I have to teach you? He's like, I already know everything you know, and I don't need to learn any of that shit because I know worse than you know, because I've faced this guy before and you have no fucking clue what Terry Silver's all about. You think Kreese was something? Terry is worse. Like, I'm sure that's the
Terry's
conversation they're going to have.
That's the danger there. Terry's trying to impress Kreese.
I got a question for y'all. What do you think the vote is about?
I think that there's going to be something to do with not having too many karate. Like, it's going to.
Well,
I think it's
an annual
number of dojo participants in the tournament.
There's also another thing here that we're not remembering. Terry Silver and Mike Barnes and all those guys, they got banned. Remember, they brought that up in season 1. So they're probably it's all about allowing Terry Silver to be a part of this, and maybe even Mike Barnes
because they allowed Cobra Kai to compete in the first year, and then they find out that I guess Lawrence doesn't really actually own Cobra Kai legally, and since they made the exception, they have to probably have a revote and be like, well, we allowed them in last year. Are we going to let them compete again this year? And that might be where the vote is.
What's going to happen is this, and this is where I feel like this is where it's going to go, and I could be completely wrong. That is, they're going to have this disqualification of Cobra Kai now that Johnny's over on the Miyagi side of things, and then the Cobra Kai the Cobra Kai side of things are going to turn around and claim like, oh, you guys are just discriminating. We can't get in the tournament now because of this, and blah 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 blah. So then the Miyagi side is going to try and get the panel to make an exception this time, so they can settle this finally and done for all.
See, I feel like
it won't be settled.
That's
the
already
best part.
on that one.
They're going to probably get 2 more seasons out of this, and then I think that's when it's going to close out.
Oh, I hope not. I hope.
Well, they said they have.
Yeah, it seems like it could use.
They said they had a 4 to 5 season plan initially, but there's threads that are left open for other seasons, and that's where I think Miguel's father comes in and stuff. Like
I think that's where you're going to get Hilary Swank coming in for the final season. And
wow!
Yeah, I was going to say Pablo mentioned that he wants her to come back as well, just to close full circle, having both Miyagi students like meet each other and help each other.
Well, and
they've already met in this series. They've technically already met. They just haven't gone out and said it directly.
Well, yeah, and I agree. And I've said this before. I think this has been set up since the beginning as far as her coming back. Like, because you now have 2 very different ideologies of karate on the Miyagi team with Johnny in the mix. And what you have is some very overly aggressive kids. And I remind everybody, when Julie was brought into the story, and this is why I like her story up until, I don't like the movie so much, but I like the movie, the character, the idea, what they tried to do, because Julie already knew karate. Her problem was the aggressiveness and how she channeled the karate. And that's where I think she's going to come into play, is she needs to come in and help calm these other kids down, because script is right. They have already set up, and I believe they already kind of foreshadowed this when you had
in season 2 they did it.
When they had, when he was teaching his daughter and Johnny's kid Robbie about the technique, when he's like, it's been a long time since 2 students have been in this dojo. He says that line, and the technique he's teaching them, you have to have 2 students to learn. So I'm thinking that's a setup that at one point Miyagi did teach the 2 of them.
Yeah, they brought both of them together, and they're like, "Hey, nice to meet you." Blah blah blah. You know, no movie to show us, but it's all implied by subtext.
Well, it's been
and other
implied
stories.
that it's kind of been a family affair for years now. Like, you know, that he was kind of the grandfather figure to the family, right?
Yeah,
they
exactly.
kind of insinuated that.
Also, remember in the trailer that at one point Johnny and Danny are looking at each other, and Johnny's wearing a red gi and Danny's wearing a white
red gi.
Yeah, it's very Street Fighter.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but what's that all about? Also, because I was thinking,
Well,
as you
Johnny wore a red leather jacket when he first met.
Yeah, I think it's just Johnny wanting his own identity.
No, but the context seems to be in the tournament, like, because you see the background.
Well, maybe one half of the students are Eagle Fang and the other half are Miyagi-Do.
That could be too, because he does talk about Eagle
together.
stuff. So maybe they do split up again. That's very plausible.
Like they work together, but they're their own thing. Yeah.
Or maybe the vote is basically.
I think that's just like
disbar them, and then they go through the loophole saying we broke up as 2 just so they can participate.
Maybe, or
I think
vice
that's just
versa.
like 2 styles within one method.
Or maybe it's because okay, actually now I know where you're going with this, Diego, and I think it may be more something like this. Eagle Fang probably wasn't allowed to even be in the tournament.
Participate,
yeah. So then maybe Daniel will make the exception and allow them to be on the Miyagi team, so they can.
Now, do you think that?
And then the vote is whether or not they should allow it. Probably.
Do you think that at the end in the tournament they're going to make the vote about letting the teachers fight?
No, that would be interesting though, Jesse.
You don't think Johnny versus Kreese and Silver versus Danny?
Yeah, but they'd have to. Do you realize how much time they'd have to spend on choreographing for these guys that are like 1,000?
Yeah. Well, luckily,
Johnny could do it. I don't know about that.
William Zabka is pretty fit. Kreese is
Zabka, yeah, but Zabka's been practicing for years, man.
Well, here's the thing: is outside of what's his face who plays Kreese, like everybody else is the similar age, right?
Yeah, pretty close, within like 5 to 10 years of each other.
Yeah, because even the guy who plays Terry Silver is actually, I think he's actually younger than.
Younger than Ralph Macchio, yeah.
If not, they're very close in age, even though he's supposed to be playing closer to Kreese's age. But yeah,
you could do it. It just everybody needs to get in the gym.
Notice in the trailer who was doing all the karate moves, Terry Silver.
Yeah, that's true. God. Oh, they never show Kreese doing anything.
No, because he's too old. The poor guy is way too old. But you know what? It doesn't matter.
Well, he's in his mid-70s, but the thing is, some of the stuff that they did last season, they got away with. It was all right.
It's hard. Yeah. It's not like Queen Latifah trying to lift her leg beyond higher than her knee.
It's no worse than the guy they had come in and do Miyagi.
Still can't straighten out the leg.
Karate Kid movies. I mean, you could clearly tell that was not Pat Morita.
Pat Morita could do a couple of things, but like they made sure they're very simple because they didn't want him breaking something.
He's a stand-up comedian.
He was a great character actor. Are you kidding? The guy was in every freaking thing before he got into the film business.
He
was in MASH. The guy was in a shitload of stuff.
No. What we're saying, those cultures, they managed to work around his.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, you're 100% right. But in an actual engagement, these guys are going to have to move around. Is the whole point.
I don't think that's going to happen. Unfortunately, for that.
Me either. I don't think it will. But it could. Maybe
I have a feeling we'll see maybe like Silver and Johnny face off.
Oh God, that'd be incredible.
But not in the tournament,
dude. Silver, first of all,
incredible. That'd be really entertaining.
Silver is going to just kill this season, man.
What's going to happen is him and Johnny, Daniel, and Silver are going to come face to face.
Yeah,
Silver's going to challenge Daniel. Daniel's going to end up getting his ass kicked because he's afraid.
Whooped
again. And who's going to save his ass?
We
Johnny.
Know. That's right. And see, you stick inside the lore. I love it. And it's going to be beautiful.
Silver gets into Danny's head.
Yep.
Every time.
Yeah. Well, he's not getting in Johnny's head.
Nope.
Johnny's broken. Johnny's a broken person on a rebuild.
Johnny's an alcoholic carpenter.
There's going to be a mic drop scene with Johnny and Silver at the end.
Oh, I know. It's going to be this wicked back roundhouse, man. He's just going to look over his shoulder and go, blam! And that's going to be it. Be like, sorry.
And that's where those two finally bond.
Okay, question for everybody, because it hasn't been covered yet. Is Terry Silver still like this rich Bond villain?
Yeah, it looks like he's still rich and shit.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, he was like disposing nuclear waste back then.
I wanted his shower.
Dude's a Bond villain. I love that. He's a Bond villain.
And I don't care
his
what
shower is
says.
sweet. It's like an octagon tile shower. The thing's nice. That's big pimping.
Like if it wasn't for him, that he is what prevents Part 3 from being an exact carbon copy of the first one. Really.
Yeah,
like his villainy, his version of a villain, because he's so much more sick and twisted and sadistic than Kreese ever was, right? Like,
yeah,
you can tell why Kreese is the way he is.
He's like that kid who tortures animals or something.
Exactly. He's like
problem child.
Kreese is just dude. I'm sorry, just great. Everything about all these characters is great. You can't be more excited than seeing a return of all of these people to like the same adversarial roles, right? And the growth between the characters that we love, Johnny and Daniel, right?
The best way to say this is this. As far as we can tell, Kreese remains the same character he is. He's a villainous character. Yep. And one good thing I've noticed from, let's call it good movies, is the fact that the villain, when he's truly bad, they don't try to make him evolve, into a more complex villain. They usually maintain him of a stable character. He never adapts. While those who we just see as the heroes, the anti-heroes, or at least the antithesis of the villain, always grow. They always adapt. They always change they start from point A.
That's a great point. Yeah,
that's a good sociopath or psychopath.
Well, that's the other problem with writing nowadays, and script probably will back this up, is that they got to make every villain complicated and relatable, and
it doesn't work.
No,
well, they just they don't know how to. Here's the thing: you want to make a villain complicated, but you want to make us understand their motivation,
right?
Like why they want to be bad. Like if you make a villain bad just to be bad, it's kind of loses its luster if you keep bringing him back over and over again. But if every new time you reintroduce this villain, and they have a new motivation and new thing, and it's beyond just revenge, then they're interesting. Then you actually love to watch them and love to hate them, and that's kind of what you want to do. But they conflate that by taking the same tools that you use to make a main character endearing and empathetic and try to apply that to the villain because they think it's edgy, but it's really not.
Well, and that's the beauty of Kreese, like Jesse just said, and
it's
also
cringy and edgelordy
in different ways, because Kreese was more than just about revenge. It was that Miyagi challenged his whole
philosophy.
Philosophy.
Yeah, but then in the show, when you find out when he follows him that he's living at the shelter and shit, that was pretty hardcore.
But that's all staged, it looks like.
Yeah, because it's like his whole military career is just bullshit.
Yeah, because he did a similar shit in the third film, so that was totally set up. Like he really was in the down and outs in the third film, and then Terry swooped in.
So you think that now he wasn't down and out?
No, I think he was. It was all an act, but it
was all an act just to take back Cobra Kai and reaffirm the legacy that he created, so he can pass it down or let it last.
Steps ahead of these guys right now. Yes, they don't have Miyagi there to kind of back him up. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's to the show's benefit. I mean, if Pat Morita didn't pass away and they did this again, I think Miyagi would be great to watch and stuff, but I think it'd be too reliant on him.
No, I agree with you, Script. And I made a similar point, I think, in our season 2 or 3 review, where I said, you could have Miyagi in this, but the sad part is what would he be other than that figure that Daniel just goes to talk to every 2 or 3 episodes?
He would drink sake. He would be funny.
Exactly. It would be and I'd love him.
He would teach the children's,
and that's about it. He would be like Yoda in the background, just kind of there, and it would be great. But I agree with you, Script. Even if he was still with us, I don't think he would serve the story as much purpose being present as he would. That absence of him means more to the story, I think. And
you're right, because in the scene where Daniel's with his daughter on the boat doing the Miyagi treatment, I mean, that doesn't work if he's still alive.
Well, it basically says like
meaningful this
how strong did Daniel listen to Miyagi, and how is he able to hold on to those lessons and learn from them and pass them on, and that's kind of where the drama comes from with him. And we see like Daniel kind of falter back to his old childish ways, and then regroup with himself a little bit later. And I like that act. I don't want them to keep repeating it though, because again, the first 2 seasons follow a very similar story beat formula. They did change it up a little bit with season 3. I hope they change it up again with season 4 so it doesn't feel predictable, because I'm really liking just how they're developing the characters and how they're kind of like getting each of them to find their place before they have their big showdown. And then are they going to reconcile, or is there going to be a permanent divide? Like that's the question I want answered.
They're doing a really good job by using the whole will they, won't they kind of thing, instead of it being with the are they, won't they going to kiss or whatever, with the whole will they, won't they fight.
See, my will they, won't they is, will Danny and Johnny finally realize that they're actually friends because they have more in common.
And now they've got that aspect of it. See, before the first, you're right, because that's what I was getting to, is the first few seasons is will they, won't they fight. Now it's will they, won't they reconcile. Exactly.
Yeah.
My will they, won't they is something that will they, won't they do this, because I don't want them to ever have a side story where Daniel's wife starts getting annoyed at all this and do the whole is she going to leave me thing. She's relatively supportive.
They did that, and then she was and to circumvent that, they brought her in to see how crazy it all actually is, and she's like, "Okay, I'm on your side."
Exactly.
And that I mean, like, I don't want to waste time watching any of that crap.
That's contrived CW crap.
Have you not watched the show, Jesse, or what?
Huh?
You not watched the show yet, or what?
No, I've watched all seasons.
I was gonna say, I thought you said you watched it. Yeah. No, so you saw how they did it. They handled her pretty well.
That's why I like that she's like oddly supportive of all this.
Well,
when she finds out they filed charges against her, she's like, "What?"
She was like in it. She just gets right in with the rest of them.
I was gonna say also, I think the better will they, won't they scenario would be more than actually they becoming friends, right? Is have this very complex relationship of, the typical archetype that I bet Scrib will understand, of the leader and the lance.
Yeah.
Right? So never truly show their friends. Like never have a moment where they actually, really have fun with each other, but maybe at the end of it all, they go to, I don't know, they can, like, just to relax, they say, let's go to a bar, right? And they have a beer together. They're drinking it in silence. But you understand, they respect each other a lot and they trust in each other.
No, I agree with you. And I think a lot of this season is, before they even finally reconcile, is going to be that battle of, the superiority and the friendship and who's right and who's wrong. And they're going to deal with a lot of that shit. And I think there's plenty of ground for these writers to play with. Hillis Mallory says MJ in the MCU Spidey is Michelle from the Ultimate Universe, not Mary Jane Watson. Parker, yeah, I know. That's
I can actually,
I
can actually say something about that. That is actually not so much based on Michelle from that universe. It's actually more based on a character named Barbara, and she also starts to date Peter Parker. Miles Morales. And she also has this typical vibe as the MJ you see in MCU. And they also look really similar in the clothing style and everything. So if I'm sharing the screen.
Yeah. All right, let me.
So this is Barbara. That's the one. Yeah, that's the one.
And that's what we're saying is all these characters are like reskinned characters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's her. And
that looks a lot like Zendaya's character of MJ.
Yep, that's because that's what she's based on.
Yep.
And she's from Miles Morales, exactly.
Yeah, and they date and everything before they break up and stuff. So yeah.
Want to hear something, a little curious factoid? Polly did a poll on Twitter, right? Just to ask. And we were surprised by the results because we asked Miles Morales or Jaime Reyes, since they're the two most closest related characters in many ways, right?
Yep.
77% said Jaime Reyes over the 23% of Miles Morales.
Jaime Reyes is way different than Ted Kord. I think that's probably why.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing.
There's a clear distinction between these characters that with a legacy name.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like because both of them, like Miles and Jaime, they are both successors to a previous superhero with the same name. And it was like, it even required the death of the previous superhero in many contexts. So it's like, and they're also Latino. And it was like, why is it everybody doesn't like Miles, but there's the Jaime love? And then I started thinking, it's like, Oh, I get it now. Yes,
Well, did you not
Chinese
notice?
culture's embraced in his character
gonna
too.
say,
There's
I
not
know-
much going on with that in Miles.
And I know
Yep.
Latino isn't a race, but like I was saying, like I pointed out to a lot of the idiots I was arguing with, why is everybody ignoring the fact that he's not just black? Right? That's the first thing they go to, though. They leave everything else out, and I think that's another thing, is that part of him is extremely overlooked, and they key in too much on other things, and that's where the whole stereotypes fall, in my opinion. But that's a whole nother discussion for another podcast on another day that I don't want to get into because I don't want to piss a bunch of people off. But anyway,
I was having a good time. I don't want to fuck.
But it's always fun to piss people off.
It is, but in this case, we were having a fairly balanced, happy show, so we're going to continue that with Xenobit's response here, who says Hilary Swank was added an entry on the IMDb for Karate Kid 2022. Also made you look. I didn't look, but I can imagine she either did or didn't. It's up to. I'm not sure they would do that yet. Xenobit says, "Can I say I like Space Jam: A New Legacy because now I have a clip of LeBron James declaring I'm a cartoon." Well, I guess there's one positive to everything. I
saw a toy of LeBron James dressed as Robin, and I sent it because I looked down and I see what looks like. I thought there was like a bum dressed like Robin. I was like, "What the fuck?" So I look down under it and I see the shelf. I'm like, "Oh, LeBron James. He looks kind of like a pedophile."
Whoa.
Okay then.
Okay.
Well, he doesn't look exactly
Mickey
right.
D with $5.
$5. The Star Wars High Republic video game announced. Plus, the Acolyte's lead has been cast. KK's power doesn't appear to have been diminished.
They just announced that video game.
It's the what is it?
It's basically an old Republic, but they call it High Republic. So
yeah, and it looks really bad. So
lovely.
Well, it's cutscenes. It's not any game.
Who's been cast in the Acolyte?
There's a beautiful woman actually has been cast as the lead.
It ain't Brie Larson, is it?
No. I said beautiful woman, but yeah.
Xenobit says season 4 spoiler for Judge gives a thumbs up. The second judge gives a thumbs down. Then the third judge is Chuck Norris, and he gives a thumbs up.
Damn it! I knew Chuck Norris was there.
That would be the best thing.
I only watch if it has a sidekicks cameo.
If you just play some random guy.
Unfortunately, Jonathan Brandis is no longer with us.
Yeah, so. I know. But it would be cool if they could work Chuck Norris in there somehow. Xenobit says, I keep telling you people, Zendaya will become Silk. Zendaya will be cast as X-32 or 23. And Zendaya will be cast as Jubilee. And you forgot Cleopatra as well.
Yeah, she'll replace Gal Gadot.
That's all terrible ideas, and that's just
and you know what? And when they do it, those films will all of those projects will suck left testicle.
Yeah, they will. All right. What else did we have to talk about today?
Well, I don't know. We're 3 weeks away from Cobra Kai 4. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean that's happy.
I mean, you know, there's some weird Disney stuff going around right now that I'm trying to.
Do we really want to talk about that?
No. I'm double. I gotta confirm what I heard. So
what did you heard?
I am going to confirm it.
I mean, we could try and watch the Sonic trailer, but I'm not showing it because Paramount will nail us.
I've got a little bit of soft news.
Yeah, they don't
15th of December, the next GTA Online DLC is coming out, and it's got Dr. Dre in it.
Oh, that's cool. It's too bad they destroyed the game in the latest remake, but whatever.
Yeah, what they did was they ported over a mobile version, and they sold it as the definitive edition, which is completely insane. So now they're left in a position where they got to drag some of their better game devs off of GTA 6 and the current DLCs to fix that mess.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, look, I mean, the thing around the
department, man.
Yeah, the thing around the Star Wars stuff, I don't pay any attention to because it's on again and off again and all of that. And I actually talked about on the 6 Minute Daily this morning. I'm like, I don't care that they cast somebody. They cast people on a lot of stuff that doesn't get made. And I'm not saying it's not getting made. I'm just saying that there's been a lot of foot dragging on a lot of projects that they announced 3 years ago now. So I'm just saying.
Yes, there has been. There's also been any progress that was made at that event has also been completely stymied by the lockdown. and it has not moved at all. All their in-house stuff that they're working on pretty much ground to a halt, and the Acolyte was the only thing that we got any movement on, which is weird, but it is what it is. We'll see. I mean, I think it's probably going to happen.
I'll be honest. At this point, I'll take my chances watching either Cowboy Bebop or the Firefly remake before I watch the Acolyte.
Well, the other thing to remember is, regardless of whether or not you believe that Kathleen Kennedy has power or not, her story group is there still. They have a lot of influence and control, so it doesn't even matter at this point.
So we gotta wait.
Yep, we're gonna have to wait and see. I think Acolyte will probably happen. Andor, I don't even know if that's really going to be released because they haven't even made a trailer announcement for it yet. Obi-Wan is what, next year?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Can I also add the fact that the people in Star Wars, they seem so lacking of imagination that actually, if you see the trailer for the new game, at the very end, the drummers, right? The fish person there, he looks like a Tau from 40K.
He does look like Warhammer.
It really does.
Which is ironic because my understanding is that Warhammer kind of pillages from other sci-fi and mixes it all together with a different different execution.
Remember script. There was an Inquisitor in Rogue Trader. The first edition was called Obi-Wan Sherlock Rousseau.
Chris says the holiday special is more Star Wars than Disney Star Wars. There, I said it. You're right.
Yeah, Chris, you're so right.
That animated short in the holiday special is the best thing.
Well, not just that. Almost all the Vader stuff and some of the other crap is still more Star Wars than
I don't know the invasion of the stormtroopers on Ichibaka's place and all that stuff.
I just don't like that they showed Chewbacca as an absentee father.
Well, he was trying to get home. That was the whole point. But yeah, you're right. Like, normally, where is he? Like,
stopped him the rest of the days.
Exactly. You're
Chewie's a trucker. You know, he goes on his long journey, then he comes back home and
he's just space trucking.
Get some space
trucking. You know,
look, I'm sorry. Sometimes those long hauls, man, you don't see your family for a week or two.
He comes home and gets some Wookie Nookie, and then he goes back on the road.
Chewie just comes home and he's like, "I'm a perfectly legitimate
Grandpa's there to help
and he
around."
throws everybody rolls of cash.
He's there to fill in. I did just watch the Sonic trailer. Did anybody else here watch it at all?
Yeah,
no, but I'm glad Jim Carrey's
back. I don't care.
Oh yeah,
this one actually looks better than the first one.
I know.
Nintendo.
Well, it wouldn't be hard. The first one we had to yell at them about the character design.
No, but I mean, that's not
relevant. The story of the first one is a tape by number story. So now that we're getting something that might be a little bit better, right? Because
I think it's going to be it's going to feed right into the lore. I think that's cool.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty good.
I agree on that one. I'm excited.
I mean, even though it's obviously a kid's movie, I mean, it really looks, If I was,
if it's fun and enjoyable, and it's it's a little bit better than the previous one, or at least on par, I think that'll be a good benefit to the people that enjoyed the first film and like the character. Because the first movie, there's nothing. I mean, story-wise for it, it's paint by numbers. There's nothing wrong with it. So, I mean, aside from the fact that it was a little bit derivative, but it was still fun. The characters, the acting was pretty good. Jim Carrey was old school a little bit, and like the character redesign. That's like the easiest thing that Paramount could have done, and
I'm happy they did.
If the fans saw a trailer and they're like, everything about this trailer is wrong, you got to rewrite the movie, Paramount would just scoff at them and be like, yeah, no, not happening. No, like a reasonable thing, like, oh, the design's not too good. Well, we can fix that.
Yeah. No, you're right. Like that's go ahead, Diego.
Just like something quickly that I'm not sure if you guys have played the Sonic games. Because
I did some of them.
If you notice the poster, the poster is clearly a connection to Sonic 2.
Cool.
Yeah, because there's the airplane.
Yep.
Yeah.
So most likely they're trying to take elements from the game that people are recognize more.
Oh, this felt like the game turned into a movie. Like, and I like how they're mixing. Like I said, that's what I enjoyed about the first movie was, even though like script said it, it was paint by numbers, but it was like a movie in the 90s we would have gotten out of Sonic, right? Like it has that, we got to set it on Earth kind of thing. And where in this case, it's not because of, financial reasons. It was more so because of it makes sense story-wise because we're being introduced to this character, and now we're getting to see all the fun shit we get to see in the video games in the second film. Like I loved the little Sonic spinball fucking reference, and there's all kinds of shit in this trailer that just And I mean, I'm not even that big of a Sonic fan. My kid was more of a Sonic fan, but like, so I know he's gonna love this thing, right? Like, I can see it, and I'm like, oh god, he's gonna enjoy the shit out of this because it's got Knuckles and it's got all the little callbacks to the video game. I think they're doing a great job. Yeah,
I think they are doing too.
I'll be honest. This is like the only movie so far that, aside from Dune, that I'm like really, really, really excited because I feel they're gonna do it right. It's not gonna be, like Afterlife, where at the beginning I'm still a bit worried because it's still Sony, so I don't know they are Sony or they're being Sony. So
this is Sony and Paramount, so it's different. It's a little bit more complicated than that.
Yeah, no, but I mean, it's like I have more, but I mean, I had more trust, like in Afterlife, I was still a bit apprehensive at the beginning, until we started getting more things. Well, this one is the first one after Doom where I'm like, okay, I have a lot of faith in this from the get-go. Like, not hype.
Okay, I just watched that Sonic trailer, and it's really takes me away because every time that Sonic is not against the CGI background, he looks like Snoopy when he did the live-action movie.
Well, that's because partially the redesign and the original design didn't look good in the first place. But I mean, I can bypass it. Here's my thing, like Jesse, I think you'll understand this. My issue with the Scooby-Doo movie was, and this was the same problem I think
I had a lot of problems with that.
Well, I mean, as far as like one of my main issue with how he looked, let's say, because this is the issue that we're talking about now, like, because remember that first trailer for Sonic came out, that was the thing. He was like too realistic mixed with like a cartoony look, and that was the problem with Scooby-Doo. I'm like, you either have to go completely Great Dane, you either have to go completely realistic Great Dane, or you have to just make him the kind of like CGI animated version that he is in the cartoon, because doing it this way, it just comes off creepy. Exactly.
Yeah.
So as much as Sonic doesn't look realistic in front of the backgrounds, I understand what you're saying. It still matches. I'm glad they went this route instead of the uber creepy, semi-realistic looking thing. Like, it just doesn't fit on certain characters, and I get where you're coming from, but yeah.
And Jim Carrey's mustache looks good, and looks like he's doing the Riddler part too.
I mean, Jim was kind of like, I mean, honestly,
he's Jim Carrey.
Yeah, I wouldn't have. He wouldn't have been my first choice to play this role. Honestly, I would have went with like Paul Giamatti.
But he could handle it. I mean, it's not like it's fucking Shakespeare.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
It could be worse. Exactly. Like, I mean, again, he wouldn't be my first choice, but
there's nothing wrong with Jim Carrey. He's just a little wacky. And he mugs
honestly, this is the most
sometimes he doesn't, though. When he doesn't mug, he's actually pretty damn decent.
This seems like the most fun he's had in years, though, in a part, though. So I'm not going to take that away from him.
Yeah, so that's good.
And then Xenobit points out that Star Trek is more Star Wars than Disney Star Wars. Well, this is all bullshit, but yeah, especially even Orville is more Star Wars than Disney Star Wars.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't take much.
But yeah, he fits. I'm not saying he's no good. I'm just saying, like, there's a couple people I probably would have picked first, like Paul Giamatti or somebody like that kind of fits more of that. That I even like Christopher Lloyd, I think, but he's a little old now. But no,
but I can see that.
He better do
Jim Carrey was a decent choice.
He can't.
Does Knuckles have a four-headed schlong like a? I don't know on that. I don't think they're gonna get into that one.
All I want him is at one point say, that is not the way, brother." I want him to say that.
Do you know the way?
Oh, that meme.
Oh Lord. It looks like it's gonna be cute. It looks like it's gonna be fun. So there you go. I wonder what do you guys think in the chat if you've watched it so far? What did you think of the trailer? So yeah, I know it's Akita. I got Akita or whatever you say, however it is. I got a fucking crash course in that crap when we had to interview what's his face, about all that stuff. So anyway, was there anything else? I think we kind of covered everything, didn't we?
Yeah, I think you're right there. I mean, we're just shy of 2 hours, so I think
MST fan is excited for it. There you go.
Nice.
Did you talk about the Tarantino thing?
Oh shit, I forgot all about that. Thanks for reminding me. This is not really much of an update. It's kind of more of a whatever. We can bring it up real quick.
We got a little update.
A little update. We did bring this up before. I gotta get it up here. Let's see. Instagram. Where are you at here?
That's what she said.
I got one request. Okay, so we got some news on the Tarantino tip. Before we get into that, we got Trenchman who says Sonic and Halo, Paramount bringing the big guns. Yeah. I've seen some stuff from Halo too. I'm not like this huge Halo fan, but it looks pretty good. So, yeah, the graphics are getting a little out of hand. Quentin Tarantino wants offensively meritless Miramax NFT suit tossed out. Studio sued Oscar winning over Pulp Fiction. You know, we covered this whole thing. Like, where's Culture at? We need him. Your NFT business.
Oh yeah, let me tell you.
What's an NFT?
NFT is a non-fungible token. It is a form of a art piece that is essentially a crypto transaction. It allows you digital ownership over a piece
it's a
of
super
art.
dog.
Kind of, yeah, that can be redistributed, but there is only one authenticated actual original piece.
Yeah, but the thing is that, like, let's say that I use my profile picture. I own
Okay.
that profile picture.
Okay.
But if I make it into an NFT, that NFT itself is what that person would be buying and owning. They want to own the original.
Yeah,
artwork.
yeah.
That
So
would still
like,
be under my
yeah,
ownership.
so
I could make this 10 different colors and make 10 different NFTs.
Sure. Absolutely.
Like baseball cards.
Yeah, exactly. And so what a lot of people have done is they've taken art images that they own. They've embellished them a little bit. And again, it's digital art essentially. And then they have essentially sent it out there as something that's authenticatedly original that cannot be duplicated. And you actually have the original piece. Now it can be resold in various forms, kind of like prints are in art, but it can be done digitally. There's a lot of money to be made in this very strange place. And he wants the offensively meritless Miramax NFT suit to be tossed out. I agree with him. It's going to be interesting how this works out. This is actually going to start to take like place in force legislators to actually deal with the digital divide that exists in the world currently. They haven't done it effectively ever in any other way. They've never been in front of something. They're always well behind the curve, like they have been on cryptocurrency in general. This is interesting. Anybody, by the way, you out there in the chat, you can make your own NFTs. You can make money at it. NFTs are almost effortless if you have any kind of skill or talent at all. There are a lot of platforms that help you get started with it.
What if your skill and talent is being the world's greatest detective? Then you have an NFT.
You could easily make Bat Tom an NFT. Also, you can make short clips of Bat Tom NFTs.
And you could that's actually true. Yeah, but non-fungible tokens. Yeah, I love this. And let me tell you, YouTube creators, right? Instagram people, all of that, you can actually make a lot of money with your stuff, turning them into NFTs. Possibly.
Culture, Cool Skull is actually turning all of the art I've had him done over the last 6 months into NFTs.
Perfect.
Yeah, so I hope. I don't know.
Yeah, and as your channel grows, the desirability of what you're producing grows. So there you are.
Yeah, and it's just random if somebody happens to like one. If they buy it, then they buy it.
All right, well, I'm going to read this here quick.
And everybody could do it. That's the thing that I don't understand.
Deadline is claiming this is an exclusive. That's how you're going to beat him, Butch, says Bruce Willis. Pugilistically? How do I say that word? Pugilistic character.
Pugilistically, like a pugilist boxer.
Anyway, yeah, okay. In Pulp Fiction, they keep underestimating you. The Quentin Tarantino and Roger Avery penned script adds. Today, those words from the 1994 flick are at the heart of the lawsuit between Miramax and Tarantino. Seem prophetic as Oscar winner basically told his former studio, Christopher Walken style, to stick their legal action over the last month where the sun don't shine. Now a shell of its former self and flailing under new ownership consortium, Miramax has decided to bite the hand that fed it for so many years by bringing this offensively meritless lawsuit, said Tarantino's lawyers Thursday in a move to have the breach of contract and copyright infringement tossed out. So did they actually put in a motion? Is that what this is saying then, Jesse? Because I think you read this already, right?
Yeah, I think that they're trying to move forward, but it's just not going to go anywhere. How are you going to go and say that any part of any Quentin Tarantino film is that he's not like the sole creative force behind it. It's kind of hard.
Well, we talked about this when we brought up the original point was like, okay, he owns like all kinds of the rights to the movies. And then on top of that, you got a good point there, because we're just a couple years away now to where he could probably go get the rights back all full.
Yeah, and if anything, the language grandfathers him in, at least it helps it's the foot in the door to grandfather him in. I mean, once something is down on paper, it's a lot harder to erase it than to add more.
Yeah.
Well, and I think we pointed out, like, Miramax's argument is that going to be that non-fundable tokens were not a thing when they made their deal with Tarantino, so it doesn't extend to that.
But it said electronic.
But it did, and he had it pretty well covered. And I think that's where it's like he owns almost every aspect of this film outside of distribution, and that's it.
I'm sure he had a very good lawyer. Don't get me wrong.
Well, considering where he was at the time in his career, I am surprised he got all that out of it. Like, that was what I was surprised about. But anyway, left unchecked, Tarantino's conduct could mislead others to believing Miramax is involved in this venture, claimed the 22-page lawsuit from the attorneys at Prosker Rose LLP. And it could also mislead others into believing that they have the right to pursue similar deals or offerings when in fact Miramax holds the rights needed to develop, market, and sell NFTs relating to its deep film library. Now, as we brought up last time, they're also looking into doing their own NFTs. That's probably the reason why this is.
Yeah.
As Miramax knows well, Tarantino has every right to publish portions of his original handwritten screenplay for Pulp Fiction, a personal creative treasure that he has kept private for decades. The 19-page letter just filed today from Freedom and Tattleman LLP and Iral and Manila LLP. Like, oh, he's got two fucking lawyer groups.
yeah. Two groups of lawyers. Those are limited liability partnerships that they're out going.
Tarantino's contracts clearly and unambiguously grant him the opportunity to do so. Those rights were carefully identified, bargained for, and memorialized, blah, 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 and Miramax in its prior incarnation freely agreed. Tarantino's lawyers punctuated of the deal he struck back in the day with the then Harvey Weinstein and Bob Weinstein founded company. But now the new Miramax implausibly attempts to use the concept of NFTs to confuse the public and mislead this court in an effort to deny the artists such as Tarantino their hard-earned and long-standing rights. Fortunately, Tarantino's Pulp Fiction contracts are clear, as is the law, and this ill-conceived lawsuit will not succeed in preventing Tarantino from exercising his contractual rights.
Yep.
There you go.
I guarantee you that.
And it just points out that this usually fades away in settlement. But anyway, you were saying, go ahead, Culture.
No, I was going to say, I guarantee you Tarantino already had somebody look this over and say, oh, no, you freaking own this. I guarantee it.
Well, he owns like all the rights except for distribution. Like that's all he doesn't have. And that's just on the first film. He even has like remake rights and shit. So like they're gonna have a hard time with this.
They're gonna have they have no case, right? They're just trying to they're trying to establish like something that will give them like license to do other things as far as NFTs go with their other properties. But they're gonna run up against creators like Tarantino who unequivocally own their rights. They outright, I mean, just to their own properties. There were some smart people that held on to everything, but the actual distribution of the film, and not a lot of them, but there were some, and he's one of them. And I'm really super stoked for this. That first of all, this guy has an opportunity to make money on something that he was probably underpaid for to begin with, and it makes me happy. It really does. And anytime we can put one over on the actual man. Although, technically, I guess Tarantino's now the man. But, I mean, the bigger man. I mean, I'm happy about it. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
No, this is a similar deal, I think, that Kevin Smith got for his movies back in the day. And I guarantee you that Tarantino didn't see a lot of money early up front. Because I'm sure Script will back me up on this one. The Weinsteins were notoriously fucking penny pinchers. Kevin Smith even had to sue to get his profits from fucking Clerks, and that had how
that's right, yeah.
Yeah, that was towards the later on in his career, but yeah, after a couple of films, that's what happened for Smith. He had to file a lawsuit, or actually, he did a claim and they settled out of court. But yeah,
and then it all led to Clerks 2 happening. But my point is I'm more than willing to imagine that Tarantino signed over distribution rights for next to nothing as long as he kept all these other rights, and the Weinsteins were more than happy to make that deal with him because that means they didn't have to spend anything. That he was staying in house, that he was going to make some more movies with them. This was already their second film with him. He was their golden boy, right? Like he brought in so much attention and money for Miramax. He it's very easy to argue that Tarantino built that film company, right? Like it was because of him they were finally taken seriously. And that was why guys like Robert Rodriguez and Kevin Smith and all the independent guys came to Miramax because that's what they wanted to do. Is they wanted to be like Quentin. Like he was the Beatles of fucking independent film directors at that time.
Oh, he was very popular. Yeah,
that's true.
So I think that they're doing themselves nothing but shooting, or I think all they're doing is shooting themselves in the foot here. I think you guys are right. Unless Culture has anything more to add to this, I think you kind of hit it on the head, buddy. So.
Yeah, no, I can't add much to it. I just this suit was ill-conceived by Miramax, in my opinion. But hey, you can write a check to a lawyer, not a biggie.
Yeah,
you know they got unlucky. The first guy that came up with the NFT that they had maybe a hand in the pot. He wasn't some little guy they could push around. It was Quentin Tarantino. So there you go.
But wouldn't that show the fact that the new leadership doesn't really understand the weight of what they have? If they simply thought they could just go over Tarantino and he wouldn't do anything?
Yeah, not to mention the fact that, how rude, man. Like, you're going to just piss off one of your biggest guys?
Well, he's not a part of their... That's why they have no real reason to give a shit. He ain't making nothing for Paramount anymore. He jumped ship to Sony.
All right.
Yeah, he's over... Yeah, he's over at Sony. So
then does Sony have a problem with them having a lawsuit against him? And might they? Is there anything they could do?
Do you mean on like Sony? Behalf? Oh, on his behalf? No, not really. Nah, because they have no say or anything over Pulp Fiction. Again, I think this is going to boil down to the fact that he owns every ancillary right to the movie outside of distribution. And then you can argue like, well, he's distributing pieces of the movie. It's like, yeah, but it's not parts of the movie that were in the released film. And he distinguishedly has rights to be able to do things with things like the script and other things that weren't in, used for the movie for his own means. And that's something that he's always been very good about. And that's why he's out there right now promoting his book for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Because he actually did the novelization of the movie.
Smart.
Yeah, like he's brought back the novelization. He's like, that was what his last interview round was about. So like, he does what he does. He don't have to fucking do what anybody else wants. He is so like,
I'm no man's bitch.
Exactly. He can do whatever the fuck he wants for the rest of his life at this point. And that's why I hope he makes more movies. But if he decides I'm going to make 10 and I'm done, fuck it. That's what he wanted to do.
Or
that's
if he's just like, I'm going to do all this cocaine.
I'm sure he does on a daily basis. But hey, he gets shit done. What can you say?
Yeah,
I mean, he takes a little while to get a movie done, but he makes a goddamn good movie when he does. James Esperanza says, if you are still down to check out one of my videos, may I suggest The Killer of Bright Bridge Pass, a reduxed horror short story, 3 minutes, 40 seconds. Thanks, Tom. That's a little long, but go ahead and see if you can send it to me on Twitter. If not, you can email it to me. I sent the email. I put the email in the chat there, one or the other. That way I can actually get to the link a little easier than trying to search around. It's, it takes forever to do that kind of stuff. So yeah, if you can send that to me before we end here, I'll gladly show it. Xenobit says, after they retire Tiger King, maybe Jussie Smollett can get a role in a hate crime. Oh Lord, why am I now you make me envision him getting some kind of like fucking reality show from jail.
Yeah, and you can put that video in the Discord, by the way.
Yeah, if you got the Discord, then at least Jesse can get me the link. Yeah, one way or the other.
Yeah, and just put it in the main area. Everybody will see it. They'll know what you're talking about.
I'm trying to keep an eye on Twitter and stuff.
The Twitter.
I know some people don't like using Twitter, so
Twitter's weird because they let me like look at one story if somebody sends me a link, and then it's like, no, you can't look at anything else. And
yeah, they must have your.
If somebody sends me a link, it's just like, yo, sign in.
And even though you've moved around now, have you tried getting a new Twitter since then?
No, I haven't, because why would I? Fuck Twitter. You want me to try right now? This would be funny. It's the same email address.
Oh, well, don't use the same email address.
I'm not making another email address.
Just make some puppet sock accounts.
Oh, motherfucker.
That's what they do.
Carlo Spicy winner here.
I'm just, you don't have to do shit. I ain't forcing you to get on there.
You know what I'll do? You know what's going to happen if I get on Twitter.
Yeah, you'll get kicked off in a day or two.
Yeah, I'll be kicked off of Twitter.
It's just a good thing you ain't been on Twitter for the last few days. You have no clue what's been going on.
Yeah, there's
a lot of things.
Did you even see the? Yeah, I think you saw the Spider-Man video I dropped, right?
No? Refresh my memory.
I thought you left it. Let me see here.
Was that where you're giving the Spider-Verse thing away?
Yeah, where I gave away the Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
that's a great video.
Yeah, that kind of is responding.
I only heard about that whole thing.
That my Twitter blew the fuck up, man.
Oof.
Like crazy. Like
it did.
Like I mean, I've had shit blow up before, but that was nuts. Like I couldn't walk
insane.
away. I had like hundreds of fucking responses and shit every time I'd walk away. It was nuts. But this is my other favorite video we just dropped. I like that.
Oh, that's a nice one.
I love it because everybody's like, I know half the people are joking, but some people are like, does that mean it's going to be 50% different now? It's like, no, this is just them finally admitting.
Yeah, not only that, that's not how percentages work. If it's 25% different, that's also 25%. That's like an eighth.
Yeah, I know. So like basically it's just them finally admit, like I said to Andre the other day, I'm like, I think they just basically thought enough time has gone by that they think people has forgotten that we had been reporting on this. So now if they admit it, they're fine. It's kind of like the Netflix deal, like
12 years have gone by.
Yeah, and then like then like yesterday, like the whole Netflix deal, like they're not yesterday, a couple days ago, and they announced that or whatever. It was like that just didn't happen, right? Like we had been reporting on that for a while. You don't just lose your thing overnight and pull all that shit. Like that doesn't happen like that. This was something they knew was going to happen for months.
It was way
at least 6 months or more.
Yeah, compare this to the Marvel Netflix deal with their Netflix shows. That was way different.
Yes, and I brought that up too to Andre, but he didn't put it in the script. Go ahead on the script.
Well, no, it's just that they made the negotiation, and then when time came for renewal, basically Disney said, "Oh yeah, we're working on our own streaming service, so bye-bye, we're not doing this. Cut. Thank you, so long." And Netflix got really annoyed.
Yeah, and see if Netflix wanted to keep. That's the other thing is Netflix was well within their rights to keep the other seasons of Star Trek Discovery.
Yep.
And here's the other thing is not only that, we don't hear about them going after Picard, do you? You would think if they were really because this is their excuse is we're doing this now. We're bringing Star Trek home to Paramount Plus, even though Paramount Plus won't be in most places for another year. That's still the reason they're trying to use for this. If that's the case, then why aren't you going after Picard? Because Picard, even though it was a failure by the fans' perspective in the most part, it still was 10 times more popular and got a hell of a lot more views. So
that was on Amazon. Yeah.
Exactly. Don't you think the one they really go after would be Picard and say fuck Discovery? No, because they're stuck with Discovery now and they can't get Picard.
And then on top of that, those Netflix Marvel shows were still on Netflix up until I think they're still on Netflix to now. You can still watch them, I think.
No,
someone correct me if I'm wrong because I can't remember because the last time I checked that was like over the summer.
I was say that was the whole point of the article script is they had not told anybody they were leaving Netflix until the day before.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my point is this is something they knew was coming down. And that's the thing, because you know and I know how contracts work. That shit just doesn't happen overnight like that. They had to know for at least 6 months or more that was
to prep everything for that purge and transfer. Yeah,
exactly. So them pretending like, oh, this just happened overnight. Bullshit. Our reporting has been pretty much confirmed now for almost every goddamn thing we've reported. So like and they're just basically putting it out there because they have no choice at this, but they can spin it however they want. But there's no way I believe that just over the course of a night, not even a week, that they decided to make this deal with Netflix and do it this way. Bullshit. They had no other takers. And then they're trying to say, oh, yeah, well, we're going to give it to the fans by putting it on a free service. Then why didn't you just leave it on Netflix in the first goddamn place, since you knew you weren't going to be ready for another year because they didn't want it? That's why. They weren't going to pay for it. And we knew this back then because they even confirmed that in the Deadline article. Netflix did not pay for season 4. So that means this deal was done and over with before season 4 ever started shooting. They knew that long. So they can sit there and pretend all fucking day long, because that's the case right there. Netflix didn't pay a fucking dime for season 4. And season 4 is already in the can and premiered. So you tell me that happened overnight. Bullshit.
And they started production of season 4 last year. So
that's my point. Yeah, Netflix would want their money back if that's the case.
Yeah, exactly.
But they didn't pay anything, and that was confirmed, basically confirming our reporting. So yeah, spin like a disco all you want. The point is, they didn't want the sumbitch. You're stuck with it now. You ain't got a service that's ready for it. So what are your options? Drop it for free or hold off the rest of the season. So they're doing both, basically. They're dropping the few episodes they've dropped now, and then they're going to cut it off midway through. I've already heard this shit. They're going to cut it off midway, and I think they even confirmed this in an article. They're going to cut it off midway through, and then they're going to wait till the end of next year to where they can show it on Paramount Plus. You were going to say something, Script. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Well, here's the other part, too. So the scuttlebutt is that last year was the last year that Secret Hideout had basically the exclusive studio space over at Paramount Toronto. At Pinewood, Toronto. And other shows have been shooting in there. So they've been leasing that out to other shows to probably finance part of this season, including with Bell Media support of co-financing season 4 of Star Trek Discovery and a couple of other European and independent networks that have streaming platform options have been funneling money of this as licensing rights to distribute overseas. So that's where they're getting their money from. Plus, they got a couple of private investors and so forth throughout in Hollywood. And then Viacom CBS covering the whatever is left over.
We actually know the name of the company, but we didn't say it in the video.
Yeah, there's no reason to say it, really.
No, I know, but just so people we've got some pretty solid fucking some pretty solid info on this. Xenobit says Juicie's crime is 25% different than the original. This is true. This is very true. And speaking of Juicie's crime, I have a feeling that's going to be a hot topic tonight over on Comics Division.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. In fact, I'm headed that way now. So I got to excuse myself and get ready for that particular show. I had a great time tonight, as always.
Please share the link for that in the chat, will you, on the way out?
Oh, absolutely.
We'll raid there because we're going to wrap this up anyway. I might even pop in myself. I don't know for how long, but
that'd be amazing. I think it'd be a lot of fun. We have a lot of great stories to cover tonight. I mean, we've been blessed with material. Let's just put it in those terms.
A lot of things.
Ooh, yeah.
So
well,
good, bad, and ugly too. I mean, it's really
was blessed with a lot in my lifetime. Yeah, no, I'm actually grabbing the link right now.
Because honestly, they'll talk a little bit more in depth and things that we can't get into here. But while you head out, I've got the Pens of Dread video here ready.
All right.
To take us out with. We're gonna pop that up here on the screen. Cool. I'm gonna share the link for Pens of Dread's YouTube page. I mean. In the thing as well, so everybody can go ahead and check them out if they're interested. So thank you again, Culture, for all your insight and help as always. And I might see you here in a little bit.
Sounds great. You guys have a great close. I love y'all. Peace out.
Thank you.
I love you too, man.
See ya, Culture.
So head on over to Comics Division and park up. I might head over there soon. Tell them Midnight's Edge sent you. And now we're going to check out this video and we're going to say goodnight. Let's check it out. It's called Killer. And please excuse me, but I am going to speed it up just a little bit, just so, yeah, it's a little long. No offense. So here we go.
This reminds me of Twisted Metal Black.
The Killer of Bright Ridge Pass. There once was a bridge long since remade. It stood as an omen and a dark claim to fame. The locals lived in fear and dread, as all who breathed knew at least one dead. Soon the Bright Bridge Pass.
You can't listen to poetry fast, Tom.
As all locals feared their lives would end in gore. Not a child or a mother a father nor a
Sorry.
brother, for even the police were found deceased by the Bright Bridge Pass. It would be 7 months after the bloody and victimized disasters. The killings would cease, and slowly the town would return to a state of peace. Still, the bridge stood near abandoned and empty, even though the town began to grow plenty. To get rid of the legend, a new name was brought, in hopes the cruelty would soon be forgot. As all was going according to plan, one dark night there walked a trench coat wearing, hooked hand man. A lovely young couple strolled across the pass, as a decade later the killer licked his lips at last. Little did they know, as a dark visage approached, that this was as far as their young lives would go. The girl would run, with wounded hand clenched, as the killer stalked in darkness, while in her lover's blood he was drenched. Her lover put up a courageous fight, but the hook's embrace tore through his heart that night. She hoped her legs would take her far, for it was not long before she saw the lights of a slowing car. A smiling old man's face she could see through the windows of a vehicle where salvation could be. That was when he emerged from the darkness. And almost like design, the old man's eyes widened while he tore through her spine. 4 lives were met that night, but with one bloody fright, the old man sped away, leaving that dark legend to live another day.
There you go. Check out.
Pretty good.
It's like Dr. Seuss had a nightmare.
Check out Pens of Dread right there if you want to see more stuff like that. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, that was enjoyable.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. And with that, I think we're going to get on out of here.
Can I just say one thing before we end?
Sure, Jace. Check out Jace's channel, of course. Go ahead and plug your channel and whatnot.
Yeah, you can find me on 540 Studio. That's my channel. I have guests over there, everything from Mike Barron to Chuck Dixon and other people. And we talk about pop culture and all that stuff. And we are going to start reviewing movies and TV shows, anime, and different stuff. But other than that, I want to say it was an honor to be here today. So thank you for having me. And I just want to say to the people in the chat that life's too short, make the most of it. And if it wasn't for you in the chat, we would not been here today. So everyone in this panel and everyone in the fellowship, we thank everyone with the bottom of our hearts. So thank you for being here and supporting us.
Well, thank you for that, Jason. Of course, I shared your link in the chat there so people can go ahead and go on over and subscribe to you. And then, of course, we got Jesse from the Crow's Nest. Check out Jesse Miller over there. Do you got anything coming up real quick you want to plug?
Yeah, I was going to start a new Saturday night show, but it was going to be centered around art. But my artist is now working Saturday night, so I'm going to start doing some kind of rando Saturday night.
Well, we definitely got to work on a Gremlins stream here soon.
Yes, that has to. We're
gotta
already running out of time on that.
Yes,
we need sound effects and music and
all that business. So check out Jesse's channel and then check out Script's channel as well. I think you're going to be starting to do a little bit more over there. I think you said.
Right after the Christmas holidays, I'm going to start. I'll have some free time to get back into some reviews and commentary.
And Diego, do you have a channel besides Midnight Judge Espanol? I can't remember now.
No, just Midnight Judge
I thought so, yeah. So do check out Midnight Judge Espanol. You guys are live every Tuesday, and you do drop videos throughout the week, correct?
Yes. Just today, we dropped a reaction to the Cobra Kai trailer, in Spanish, of course. And also, we have a little other video about the fact of how they don't translate things for Latin America. They always translate the Spanish to Spain.
Right. All right. Well, there you go. Great stuff over there as well. So check out all these guys and check out Culture Casino as well. Head on over to Comics Division channel. The link is up in the chat there. We're going to head over there. I might pop in there myself. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other. I'm sure we'll see you sometime this weekend.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.